What's up, you diehards, you degenerates, you lovers of defensive football? This is Josh Raymer, and we are back for another episode of the Big 3 IDP podcast. But it's a special event tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The NFL draft is here. Round 1 is about halfway over, and we have assembled the IDP Avengers to talk you through some of the moves that have been made tonight. Boys, some shocking picks have gone down. I am joined in the Sode Shack on my right, Adam Markham. On my left, Bobby Reynolds. And back in the Sode Shack, making his grand return, it's Connie. Connor back in the shack as well. And we are joined by a trio of amazing guests. My goodness, boys. How do we land this many good guests?
We're just that good, Josh.
We're just that good, Eddie. That's right. But we are joined by best friend of the show, PFF Macri. Jon Macri, how are you doing tonight, man?
How's it going, boys? Excited to watch this draft with you.
Absolutely. Coming back, we managed to get him on like twice in 2 weeks, so he must like us, Addy.
We're besties.
Besties as well. From DFF, you know him as Dynasty Tripp. Tripp, what's up, man?
What's going on, fellas? It's good to be back. I enjoy shooting the breeze of talking football with you.
Man, we've got a big pick that we're going to talk about with you here in just a bit, Tripp. The Cowboys. We know you're a Cowboys fan, and what a night for Cowboys fans. A lot of emotions. But introduce our last guest here from IDP, guys. You know him as Joey the Tooth. Joey, what's up, man?
What's up, brothers? Nice to be back on.
Oh, man. Well, let's just start, Joey, with you, since your team made one of the biggest moves of the night there at 3, taking Trey Lance instead of the huge mistake that would have been Mac Jones, Big Mac Jones, as Jon Macri likes to say. How are you feeling now with Trey Lance at the helm of your favorite team?
I feel phenomenal. I had freaking anxiety gut rot for like 2 weeks. I was like, Mac Jones, like, it's going to happen. It's going to kill me. I'm going to be depressed for the next 5 years. It's going to suck. Nope. Trey Lance, he opens up the playbook so much. And I think this is actually the offense that Shanahan wants to run. I think Trey Lance just opens everything up for him. He's going to run RPOs. He's going to open up that running game. They're going to run a lot of jet sweeps with the receivers, a lot of short passing game. He's going to scheme receivers open for Lance. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm excited.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
it's fun to watch good fan bases get quarterbacks. Like, that's the most exciting thing.
Yeah, and I mean, just so many weapons, outside of quarterback up until now, and now you get the ultimate weapon at quarterback. So, yeah,
God.
Love that, man.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's when I saw the Vegas odds move to Trey Lance, Joey, I was feeling pretty good. But at the same time, I can understand the anxiety since it seems to have – this is the theory we were floating, John. You mentioned when we were watching the draft unfold that it seemed like maybe the 49ers came up with Mac Jones in mind, saw the backlash, and were like, wait, what are we thinking? Let's go with Trey Lance, and went with Lance instead. So, yeah, we're happy for you, Joey. It's going to be fun there, I think. Do you think we see Lance year 1, or do you think they keep Jimmy G around and let him play all 17 games?
I think if Jimmy G's around, they'll probably start the season with Jimmy G at quarterback. But if they trade him, which I hope they do trade him, I could see Lance going in week 1.
Yeah, that would what was it? Trying to think the last time we kind of saw this, like it was the Dolphins, right? They brought Tua in like around week 8, like after the bye week, right? Yeah. And then kind of played the hot hand the rest of the season. I could see something like that if Jimmy G doesn't get traded. Would you be all right if they ship Jimmy G out for a nice package of picks or players and then just rode with Trey Lance into the season?
Honestly, with his contract situation, I'd be happy just getting a third back for him.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That would be a nice get based on that contract. So, all right, well, let's talk about some of these picks here, gentlemen. The Jets just came up to the Vikings pick there at 14. It looked like maybe it might have been a defensive player, maybe an edge rusher, Kwity Paye, but they go Elijah Vera-Tucker, the guard there. So we only have 3 defensive picks to talk about so far, but the pick is in for the New England Patriots. And y'all seen anything? Is it, oh my God, it's Mac Jones.
It is Mac Jones?
Wow, it is Mac Jones, dude. That is wild. I think I said on the pod, Mac Jones to the Patriots, but I thought they would trade up to 4 into the Falcons spot and take him.
They got their Brady.
They did.
They got their Brady.
Someone, I think it was PFF again. It was Warren Sharp says Bill Belichick has a type, and it's got Tom Brady's picture and Mac Jones' shirtless pic. The physique is very similar. Connie, as the other Colts fan here in the room, how do we feel about Mac Jones being the Patriots quarterback of the future?
Well, if he has, if it's a trash body thing that gives you like excellent performance like Tom Brady had, then we're in trouble.
It's true.
Yeah.
It is true. If that's the measure of success, we're in for another 20 years of pain.
Yeah, it's not going to be good for the entire AFC. So let's just keep a good night for Colts fans and anybody in the AFC is keep Aaron Rodgers at AFC, keep in the NFC.
Yes, please.
I'll take my chances with Big Mac.
Thank you. Yes, please. That would
Big Mac and
would be
cheese.
good. Big Mac and cheese. Now, John, are you lashing out at Mac Jones because you have Macri? You have Mac in your last name? Like, is this kind of like a self-confidence type of thing?
I had tried to trademark Mac before all this Mac Jones hype started, but unfortunately it didn't pan out for me. So it might put a bad. I'm just gonna hope he's good. That way, Mac is associated with greatness.
That's good. That's what we want. Yeah, we want Mac to be associated with greatness. We don't want at least Mac Jones to drag your good name through the mud.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, Joey. Well, while we've got you, I want to get your thoughts here on some of these defensive picks that have come off the board. We had a couple cornerbacks. We'll talk about those in just a bit. We know not the most IDP relevant position, but the big pick, and we'll get your thoughts and then immediately switch it over to the Cowboys fan in the room. Micah Parsons goes at number 12 to the Cowboys. They trade back. The Eagles come up to their spot. They move back to 12. We're thinking, okay, who is it going to be here? Is it going to be an edge rusher? Is it going to be a tackle? No, they go with Micah Parsons from Penn State there at 12. What's your immediate reaction to Parsons landing in Dallas?
My immediate reaction was it's too crowded. I mean, there was the talk of bringing Keanu Neal in to play weak side. They had Van Der Esch, they had Jaelan Smith. But like you guys just mentioned earlier, they're now saying that it looks like they're not going to pick up Van Der Esch's fifth-year contract. Jaelan Smith has had his struggles, and he's got the lingering knee injury from the year before, from the college time. But I don't think Jaelan Smith is really that bad. I think he played a little bit out of position. He was in coverage far too much. He should not be in coverage by any means. But Micah Parsons, I don't know. He's a great linebacker. He's a fantastic linebacker, but I think they could use him on the weak side blitzing a little more than they do. Like he fits more of what Jaelan Smith is than I think he fits what they actually need. Like I think him and Jaelan Smith are a lot more similar than what the Cowboys actually need to add to their linebacker group, which I think it's kind of, they just gave Jaelan Smith a lot of money. So I don't know who's going to end up playing middle, who's going to play strong side. But if they bring in Keanu Neal to play weak side, or who's going to play weak side, it kind of makes the whole situation a little murky for me.
Yeah, it really does. Like Addy said, though, Sean Lee retired, so they had to go get the next guy. And Tripp, it does make sense, because if there's one thing we know about Jerry Jones, he likes to make the splashy move. He likes to get the flashy guy. And on defense, there really wasn't anybody flashier than Micah Parsons. So you've had a little bit of time now to collect your thoughts. What are you thinking about the addition of Micah Parsons to the linebacking core?
Well, the first thing I would say is it reminds me a little bit of Pitts to the Falcons, in that they said, who's the best player on the board, and we'll just take that guy and make it work. I didn't agree with Pitts to the Falcons. I thought that the Falcons should have traded back, but I get in a sense why they did that. The Cowboys, I mean, I think I agree with what Joey said. They basically got four wills now. Like, what are they going to do with that? Everybody's going to play this. You can't all play the same position, and that was the challenge that they've had for the last 2 or 3 years. Is both Esch and Jaelan have been guys that you want to play the 4-3 outside to cover the flats that can rush the passer. You don't have anybody that can drop. You don't have anybody to run up a seam with a tight end. And maybe they think Parsons can do that. And if he can, well, then it's a great pick. But that continues to be a concern. And the Jeremiah Koromoa seemed like a better fit for that defense in the middle than Parsons would be, in my opinion. And they could have traded back farther if that's the case. And so that's a little bit disappointing to me. With all the holes they have on defense, that just it's really struggles. I think they were the 31st defense by some metric. And with the holes they have at corner and at free safety and the interior defensive line is just awful. It's just amazing. I think that part of the challenge that Jaelan and Esch had last year was the fact that the IDLs were so bad. They couldn't eat a block to save their lives. And so this is just a puzzling pick to me. This This is an owner being a GM again, like we had 10, 15 years ago with the Cowboys. And to go back to it again, it's really frustrating as a Cowboys fan. That said, I do think that Parsons could be a good player, and it's fun to see an impact linebacker. I mean, I'm old enough that I remember when linebackers were important, so I'm kind of excited to see Parsons go on the field. So, but he's going to be out there with not enough help. I mean, they've got a lot of ground to make up, and it's puzzling to try to figure it out.
Yeah, it seemed like defensive line would have been a smart move there, John. But we've talked about on some of the previous shows here in the run-up to the draft that Micah Parsons could be the one IDP that sneaks into the first round of rookie drafts if he lands in an ideal scenario. Do you think this is the kind of scenario that is going to propel Parsons into the first round for rookie drafts? Because I don't. I think this was not the ideal situation that IDP managers were looking for.
Yeah, I don't think it was the ideal situation. I think, if he landed somewhere the original team that was at 12, Philadelphia, something like that, would have been a lot better. The Raiders, whoever it would have been, but yeah, not a great situation year one for Micah Parsons. And they do have Van Der Esch there. Who knows if he stays healthy? He hasn't been healthy yet. But part of me wonders too, like with Micah Parsons, is he such a good pass rusher that Dallas only really has DeMarcus Lawrence? I wonder if they do get three guys on the field, Van Der Esch, Jaelan Smith, and Micah Parsons, that they utilize Parsons to get after the quarterback in a blitz situation as well. So,
yeah, so we just had a bombshell drop as we were. Yeah, this is the one that John spoke into existence, and now Bobby's going to go walk into traffic. The Arizona Cardinals are taking Zaven Collins, linebacker out of Tulsa.
I've got to delete some tweets.
Yeah, I was going to say, all of our Simmons love has just come crashing down like the Hindenburg. This is a tough one, Bobby. I'm sorry. Let's go to you for your immediate reaction as the Isaiah Simmons manager in our league.
That.
Oh,
I'll just say, damn it!
Yeah, this is not great. Two back-to-back years of drafting linebackers in the first round. Was this a smart move for the Cardinals here to go with Collins?
Honestly, I don't think it's a terrible move, and I don't think it's actually going to affect Simmons as much as you may think. I think he's going to play more of the Hassan Reddick role, because here's another guy who's actually a very good pass rusher.
Yeah.
Like Collins is an excellent pass rusher, so he might fill the Hassan Reddick role from last year because he's gone now. Nobody's taking his spot.
Also, that Jordan Hicks contract, they have a potential out after 2021 with him. He's got a $3 million dead cap after that. So
Yeah.
It's not like Hicks is contracted there forever. But I'm with you. I don't know.
It's a beautiful football move, though, right?
Yes.
Me and Macri
Yeah.
were talking about this. This is just the sexiest defense maybe we've seen in a while.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it could be a headache for IDP. Hopefully not, like Joey said. But man, real football move. Kudos to Arizona. That's sick as hell.
That's a nice team. They've got
their
some nice
defense-
pieces now.
Their defense just got incredibly versatile,
Yes.
if anything.
Yeah, you've got Isaiah Simmons, the positionless wonder, kind of roaming around back there. Now you add Zaven Collins,
Kind of
who's a
similar.
freak of nature athlete.
Yep.
A
lot of speed on that defense.
Oh man,
And they get to learn from Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt and Buda Baker. That's awesome, man.
it's a great football move for the Cardinals.
Yes.
But for IDP purposes, it's the scene from Arrested Development where Job is sitting there and Hello Darkness, My Old Friend is playing in the background. Not the outcome we were hoping for. I think Addy's just in his mind thinking of all these trolls that came after him on Twitter for the Isaiah Simmons love.
They're gonna be coming for me. No
Yeah,
doubt.
just get ready to employ
Might be a
the
good night to
block
get
button.
canceled. You know,
So,
we really
yeah,
think
why not?
about it.
Let's just burn it all down, boys.
Twitter's it's hell anyway. Who cares?
All right, John, your immediate gut reaction. Joey thinks maybe Zaven Collins plays the Hassan Reddick role. How do you see him? Gut reaction here fitting in with the Cardinals.
Yeah, like he's good in coverage in a way that similar to Isaiah Simmons, but yeah, like Joey said, he's another guy that is a really good pass rusher. He's a big body, obviously like 6'4", weighed in at 270 pounds recently. So he's kind of a monster. He can definitely fit in on the edge if they need him to play that Hassan Reddick role, but he's also a good coverage guy. So, he didn't do a ton of coverage work at Tulsa. I think he had like 29 targets that he faced in the last 2 years, something like that. But when he was targeted, he was really good. He led all these top linebackers and forced in incompletion percentage as well. So he's versatile. He can do a number of different things. I'm surprised that they did it, I guess, in a way, but I could see them trying to get him and Isaiah Simmons on the field at the same time, and hopefully maybe it's Jordan Hicks that takes a back seat.
That would be nice. That would be ideal. Man, it's just funny. This draft definitely has some surprises, but it's also had a lot of picks, I feel like, that were pretty chalky in terms of what I was seeing, like with those kind of late breaking mocks. John, who was it whose mock draft that you saw had, was it Schrager that had?
The one I saw was from
Collins
the Draft Network. It was Benjamin Solak.
Okay.
But a few people had been reporting it apparently for like about a month now, and it just got hotter and hotter. So,
wow, that's crazy.
You know what I just thought about? What if Mac Jones was the kid in that old NFL commercial that's talking to Cam, and he's like, could I come to Carolina and like he's talking about like, you know, be your mom's best friend or like be a better player than you, and he's like, what do you need? I'm just warming up my
I remember that commercial.
You can take your job, yeah.
Yeah.
It could be that kid.
It could be.
Maybe.
That was a while back.
It was. That could have been Zach Wilson too, for all we know.
Golly, man.
Man. All right. So we've got Zaven Collins.
John,
to the
stop
Cards.
Stop sending offers for Simmons. Get him out of here, John. It's enough of that.
We got Mike Wallert weighing in here on Twitter saying, I think Arizona is the one spot I didn't want Collins to land in. So this will be super interesting now where we see Collins going in rookie drafts, because sort of like Micah Parsons, this does muddy the waters a little bit in terms of his IDP value.
Yeah, he'll be probably a late second, maybe at best now. I mean, I don't know.
Who, Simmons?
You hoping 210?
Collins.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Got 3 seconds now, John. But no, I mean, I think the second's going to be, you know, I think had they gone to good spots, we could have seen them go early second, I think.
Look at Macri over there, like
push him
legit,
down a little bit.
legit scheming. Like he's soaking Adam's.
He's like, how am I going to get Simmons
in?
from Bobby?
And where is Adam going to take Collins?
Yes, he's tilting right now. Let's swoop in and get him.
Yeah, me and John, quick little who'd you get? I traded the 305 and the 310 for the 210.
Uh-oh.
Addy's wanting to get in that second round. As we know, he likes the first, second, third, and fourth rounds this year.
Yes.
He wants a lot of picks in all of them.
I'm avoiding the 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Here's
not
a
good place to be.
A good question is, how does Las Vegas screw this up here?
That's what I was going to ask. What are we thinking here? I'm not seeing anything on Twitter. Tripp, where do you think the Raiders should go?
I've mocked Trevon Moehrig to them in this spot for a while. I think they desperately need help at free safety. I think they have Carl Joseph there to be a backup. They have John Abram makes sense in a strong safety role. Maybe Tanner Muse plays a little hybrid, but they've got to find somebody to hold down the back end. And you got Gus Bradley there coordinating the defense now. He wants to do some single high looks, and there's nobody on that roster that can do that right now. So to me, that makes the most sense for me. I could see certainly the offensive line as being an option after that, because they seem to purge a couple of starters inexplicably. Yeah. And so there's certain holes on the offensive line side. But with the depth of the tackle class, they could wait on that, or they also could wait on safety, because the guy like Richie Grant or Jamin from Oregon, what's his name? Jamin Howard.
So they went with Leatherwood. So good call there, Tripp. Wow. They went with Alex Leatherwood, the tackle from Alabama.
Got to keep Carr upright.
That's right.
It's a strong last name. I like that.
Leatherwood's a great last name. One of the best ones. It's no Divine Diablo, as we know.
Mm-hmm. But for an offensive lineman, that's nice.
That's solid. You can't be like, doing something besides football if your last name is Leatherwood.
Mm-hmm. Just classy.
Yeah. Just two manly things.
Making
leather and cutting
you could
down
be selling
trees.
whiskey.
Yeah, true. Yeah. That's another. It has to be something very manly. Like, you're working with your hands.
So
I don't know.
Here's a good question. Is there anybody that has survived so far as like veterans that are already in the league? Like we've talked about Simmons kind of getting a knock a little bit, but is there anybody that we've kind of pegged so far that
for IDP or just in general?
Well, either one. In general, I mean, there's been a bunch of offensive picks as well.
What about T. Higgins? What do you guys a little bump down on T. Higgins maybe?
Have to, right? Is Jamar Chase walk in and immediately with the Joe Burrow connection, the number one wide receiver there?
I think so. I mean, Those shoes, the drip, very apparent with that one.
So here's a good question: if Atlanta had done something different at 4, do you think that they would have gone Pitts at 5?
Yes, I do. That was my mock. Yeah,
You do, Tripp?
That would have been cool.
I think that I think that would have been an enormous tool for the Bengals offense there. I just think that they have the background of that head coach is back with the Rams, and they had drafted Gerald Everett as their first pick when that regime first got there. And I thought that made a lot of sense to get a versatile tight end there. He has the speed to stretch the defense up the middle. I thought that would have been just a windfall for the Bengals if Fields had gone 4.
God, who is this Tripp guy?
Tripp is so good.
Good gracious.
I'm telling you, he comes out. There was someone posted that gif of like a guy like shooting a revolver when it's talking about Tripp, and I'm like, yeah, the dude just spits out some gold here.
Yeah,
so
I'll say baller panel we got going on tonight.
Uh-huh.
solid. PFF, eat your heart out.
Macri's
Sorry,
all
John.
right. Macri's decent.
John just woke
John's
up. He's like,
decent.
oh God, hopefully PFF didn't see this.
They don't know about this. I didn't tell PFF
I
about
didn't
this.
tell anyone. So guys, we've got
Macri has left the chat.
Yeah, Macri is gone. We've got the Dolphins coming up here. Let's kind of speculate on some of these upcoming picks. I don't see anything about the Dolphins yet, but we've got the Dolphins, Washington football team, Giants, and Colts coming up. Joey, give me someone that you think goes off the board in those next 4 picks.
Let's see. So who do we have next? Say it again.
We got Miami now, then Washington, then the New York Giants.
And then the Colts
All right.
there
And the
at
Colts.
21.
So I think Miami's going to go edge, Ojulari or Jaelan Phillips or Quiddy Pie.
Mm-hmm.
Washington, I could easily see inside linebacker, maybe JOK. That would be a perfect fit there.
Joey, you called it, my friend. Jaelan Phillips to the Miami Dolphins.
Wow.
That's a good pick.
Dang.
Really nice.
Get to stay in Miami.
Gets to
Love
stay
that.
in Miami.
Golly.
Joey, you called it, so give me your instant reaction there with Phillips going to the Dolphins.
I love it. Jaelan Phillips is my DL1. The dude is a baller. He's got
Nice.
everything. He reminds me of a young Alden Smith. He's got a swim move that'll blow your mind.
Hopefully not too much like Alden Smith. Similar
I
play
know.
style.
There you go. Similar play style, yeah. No, I love Jaelan Phillips. I watched him this past year, and I started watching tape. I was just like, holy crap, he's a complete package. He's athletic, he's big, he's long.
Mm-hmm.
He ran down a running back from Clemson. I forget his name, but he ran him down like 20 yards downfield, made the tackle. I was like, all right, the kid's got heart, he's got motor, he's got everything you need from a DL.
Nice.
I love
It's just
it.
the injury concern, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one thing I think Mike flagged was the medicals.
But none of them were really like career-ending or like threatening injuries. I think he had an ankle injury. The concussion is a little worrisome, but I think he had an ankle injury, the concussion. There's like a wrist or something like that, but it's not like it was like a soft tissue injury or anything like that.
Yeah, I looked into it. He had a moped accident.
That's
at some
what I
point.
remember. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
moped, like something kind of silly.
Oh, that sounds fun. That's a good injury. If I'm gonna pick
I've
one.
had some injuries on mopeds.
Hey, I love mopeds.
Might as well.
His stock's up.
Yeah, moped. Yeah, it's like you couldn't just get a car. You had to be on a moped. or
You're
golf cart.
huge, dude.
Yeah, like you would be ridiculous on a moped. Like, what are you doing? Tripp, Bobby's lock for the first round was JOK to the Washington football team. If it is JOK here, how would you like that fit with the football team?
Oh, it's a great spot. You play behind that beastly defensive line that they have there, and he's just going to pile up tackles in that scheme. I like that a lot. I think you can pair with. I'm interested to see what they do with the other spot, right? I mean, to me, he's more of an outside fit. So does that mean they keep Bostic in the middle in that defense in particular? Does that mean they keep Bostic in the middle and they keep JOK at the 4-3 outside linebacker spot? Does that put Holcomb on the bench? I don't know. Or they think Holcomb's ready to take over the middle, but I just think he would eat in that scheme, and that would be a great fit. I mean, that's the kind of guy that you want to. That he would challenge Parsons to the comment we had earlier about whether or not Parsons moved in the first round. No, so JOK I think would be interesting enough in Washington that he might push Parsons for. He'd certainly be right after him in a rookie draft. It'd be close in value in my mind.
I agree. That's what I'm thinking, man.
Yeah.
I feel like that he might be the LB1 if that happens.
Yeah.
That's the best landing spot by far.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
I mean, it may, long term, you may want Parsons.
Yeah.
But if people looking to win now,
Yeah.
That defense gets even sicker if they manage to
very nice, yeah.
Gonna
land
bump,
JOK.
bump Landon out of his linebacker spot.
I know, maybe Landon gets to
Keanu
stay
Neal
at
already
safety.
lost his job. Might as well Kick Landon out too.
I was going to say maybe they can trade for Vanderneck.
These safeties, they don't age well, do they?
Oh
No, they do not.
Hey, what do y'all think about Landon? Have y'all been keeping up with him at all? You think he'll come back from that Achilles all right?
Yeah.
Achilles is tough, man. I think that's one of the worst injuries to try to come back from.
I should have clarified. Safety's coming off Achilles injuries. That's not good. That's tough.
That's a tough one to come
And Tracy
back from.
Walker's. People named Tracy Walker.
He's a corner now.
He's a corner now. All right, so I'm not seeing any kind of tip here on the Washington football team. What about New York, Tripp? Any kind of insight here on the defensive side? Do you think they go offense, defense, maybe offensive line for the Giants? What are you thinking there for them?
Oh my gosh, I thought the Giants could use speed at wide receiver. So not sure if there's a guy that I really like here in terms of value to get speed at wide receiver. So I had guys like Elijah Moore and Kadarius Toney going about 9 or 10 picks later after this. So the Giants are on the clock now. I don't have a good answer, I'm afraid. I think they might could use another edge. I don't really like what they've done so far. Adenabo is just, they had Lorenzo Carter coming off of a serious injury. You got O'Shane Zimenez has not done a lot. Fackrell was kind of a guy that was brought over as a Jag to help the scheme get implemented. So maybe they're looking edge here.
That would be interesting. Seems like we could be having a little run on edge here, but somebody who's got to run, Joey. Sleep good, my friend. Thank you for joining us, bringing your insight, and congratulations on having the quarterback of the future for the San Francisco 49ers.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I'm now at ease, and it's always good talking with all you guys.
Awesome, man.
See
Take
ya.
care, Joey.
See you, Joey.
Later, bro. Joey.
So, all right, fellas, it is I'm not seeing anything on the Washington pick yet. PFF's best available, Christian Barmore, defensive tackle, Christian Darrisaw, 2 Christians at the top. How funny is that? Trayvon Morag, Rashad Bateman, JOK, Greg Newsome, Elijah Moore, and Caleb Farley as the best available for the rest of this first round here. John, which of those guys do you think we could see go off the board next? Are we feeling JOK maybe to Washington?
I thought about JOK, and then another one too that I thought would have been kind of interesting. A guy that was getting like a lot of hype into the first round was Jamin Davis too from Kentucky. I thought maybe.
Oh, now you mention him, huh? Now you mention him.
Wait, John, when did John not mention him?
Last time what?
That was Mike.
Sorry, John.
This wrong
Mike are
IDP
different
analyst.
Hey, he's over here drinking those Mountain Dews.
He hadn't even cracked the Mountain Dew yet, so we
Thank
haven't
God.
even got to the crazy
Give me a
phase of
minute.
this live
Damn
stream
it,
yet.
Josh! You just threw him under the bus.
You're trying to give him, yeah. All right, sorry, John.
We forgive you. Continue.
Yeah, no worries. So I mean, in the same kind of vein that Tripp was thinking too, like that
Holy
linebacker
shit.
position, it's okay. Like they got Darrisaw.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, I'm saying Darrisaw. They got Holcomb and Bostic, right? They could use somebody with a little bit more athleticism and speed. Jamin Davis, obviously, like I said, his athletic testing and everything kind of put him through the roof. I mocked him there in my mock, so so the pick is Davis.
Dang
Jamin
it,
Davis,
Macri.
you're a soothsayer, Macri.
Good
Wow.
gracious.
You're a freak. Are you a witch?
Are
you a witch?
Is this the best pod of all time? Huh?
Canada's like a minute ahead on the draft stream, I think. It's like their position in
Oh,
the
Canada.
hemisphere. They're getting this ahead of time.
Who are you, Macri?
John's like, I think it's going to be Jamin Davis. I think they're going to take the pick with like 3:42 left on the clock. It's like, wait a minute. What the hell's going on here?
I mocked it on Monday. I said Jamin Davis to the football team.
There you go.
It just makes sense. I mean, I know they need wide receiver, but I don't know about the value right now.
It's my 109, John.
Sorry,
My 109 right there, baby.
you think so?
Oh, 100%. Look at him. Look how good he looks in that
That's
mirrored
why he's
helmet.
in the feed, folks. That's why he's in the feed.
All right, Tripp, what do you think there? We had said maybe JOK, but Jamin Davis jumps up to the Washington football team. You like the fit?
Yeah, I think they're similar enough players that all what I said before. You do substitute out JOK for Davis, and they're good. I'm sad for all the Holcomb and the Bostic shares I was trying to pick up for cheap all offseason. I really thought it would be Darrisaw there. We've had enough sentimental picks in this draft that thought Darrisaw would be the pick there at 19. But yeah, Davis. I mean, Davis certainly helps them long term on that defense and stabilizes a spot that was been a question mark last year for sure.
Yeah, and Connie, we love to see another UK boy getting some love on the, first round here. Joins Josh Allen as far as defenders from Kentucky getting some love in the first round.
Yeah, go inside the top 20 like that. You love to see it. I think you'll have a good fit there. Washington being a playoff team last year.
Yep.
So, and what's crazy is, and I don't know if it was COVID or whatever it was, or just season in my life, I didn't get to catch as many Kentucky games this year, but heard his name quite a bit. So, excited to see what he can bring to the football team there in Washington.
A meteoric rise up draft boards. I think the combine or the pro day that he had really helped spike his draft value, his stock in terms of the NFL draft. So, Connor, we have the Giants ahead of us and then the Colts. Two of the guys that I had hoped would be available, I thought Pay would be gone before Jaelan Phillips. So I had said Jaelan Phillips or Christian Darrisaw there. Which defensive ends, left tackle, which of the two would you rather see the Colts go with at 21?
Pronounce Pay's first name for me.
Quiddy.
That's what I thought it was, just out of curiosity.
I thought it was Quiddy. I've heard Quiddy.
Yeah.
I've heard Quiddy. I've heard Pay. I've heard Pie. Let's go with Quiddy Pay, though.
Him and Darrisaw are my two names I had pulled up here. I mean, I think it's 6 one way, half dozen the other. Honestly, I'd probably rather go ahead and lock up your tackle because no matter what happens with your quarterback, if Wentz is who they think he is, if you protect him and don't let him get back there and get the yips and get in his own head again, I think you can put a lot of different weapons around him and have weapons on the defensive side of the ball, which they do need a pass rusher, obviously.
They do.
I think that is their big missing piece, but I know they have some faith in some guys in that building to be pass rushers that didn't necessarily have a chance with injuries and everything else last year. But they don't have that at tackle.
They have nothing. It's just a void. They've added some guys, some depth offensive line, but they had a chance to go get some of these dudes in free agency like Villanueva, who ended up with the Ravens. So I think you're right. I think it's Carson Wentz. Let's protect our potential franchise QB here. Let's pick up Darrisaw, who our boy Zach had as the number 2 tackle in this draft class. So that would be pretty good. We know we had no chance at Sewell, but I would not be upset, Addy, if we went with Darrisaw there at 21.
No, I mean, hey, you're set there at edge. You got Teray. He put up a 95.3 PFF grade on 12 snaps last year.
John's like, I'm going to die right now. Yeah, John, what do you think? Do you think it should be tackle or edge rusher for the Colts there at 21?
As the Kamoko Toure truther, I will say that I hope it's left tackle. Yeah, I guess I would go left tackle here. I mean, you want to protect Wentz as much as possible. You invested so much in him at this point, trading for him, that you kind of want as many pieces in place to let him succeed. So yeah, left tackle makes the most sense. And Darrisaw still being on the board is perfect, really.
I agree. I had hoped that Darrisaw would be there. A lot of the mocks I had seen, though, had him going in the teens, so I didn't think we had any chance at him. I think if he's there, you got to run that card up to the commissioner, Connie.
Yeah, I have faith in Teray as well, so I'm right there with you, John.
And you can always go back and sign Justin Houston. He's still out there.
There's options there, and we just don't have that at tackle. I mean, when you're talking about taking a guy like Quentin Nelson, an all-pro guard, and saying, oh, he can play tackle, he's played tackle in the past, let's move him around. Let's not do that because, again, it's John just touched on this, and Josh, I think you did too. You've put your chips on the table, not all the way in on Wentz, but you've got a pretty good amount of capital invested in him, and he's pretty much the direction you're pointing this thing.
You're hoping it works out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you traded potentially a first-round pick next year for this guy.
Yes, exactly. So if Teray is even a little bit of who they thought he was, I mean, the Colts are creative about creating pressure, whether you're talking about Kenny Moore coming off the edge. But again, I think they got a lot of guys in the stable they feel like can produce, and it's put up or shut up time. So
that's right.
We'll see. Teray is the head of that group. I agree with you there, John.
All right. So the Giants pick is in, but I'm not seeing anything yet. Let me know, guys, if you see something pop up here. But
I'm creeping Twitter hard.
I know. I was gonna say, Addy's rocking a Sam Adams. Is that beer 2 or beer 3? Beer 3. All right. So things are about to get very interesting. I was going to say, John, what are you drinking tonight? This is your first beer run in like a year, isn't it?
Yeah. Being locked inside the house, I haven't been able to get out. So finally decided that this was the occasion to do it. So we're having Peroni tonight, representing the Italian beer.
There we go. There we go.
Pick
Have
number-
you ever had Peroni, Eddie?
I don't think I have.
I thought it was a Heineken because it's in a green bottle, isn't it, John?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I thought it was a Rolling Rock.
Rolling Rock.
God.
Oh my God.
So
All right.
pick number 20 is in, and they go wide receiver Kadarius Toney.
Really?
Wow.
Okay, so it's got to be. I mean, wow. Can you do better at 21 than Kwity Paye and Christian Darrisaw? That's a really tough choice.
Yeah.
All right, let's make our picks here. 21. 2 Colts fans in the room. Connor, give me your pick.
I'm thinking Darrisaw.
Darrisaw?
I don't think they want to do the O-line musical chairs again. I think they're going to shore that thing up and go back to having one of, if not the best O-lines. Once Darrisaw kind of gets acclimated, I'm going to say Darrisaw.
Darrisaw. I'm saying Darrisaw as well. Addy, what do you think? It doesn't have to be either of those two. It could be somebody else.
No, I'm not Darrisaw.
Darrisaw? Bobby?
I don't want to be a homer. Offensive line is kind of fallen. There haven't been a lot of linemen really taken, so they probably go Darrisaw.
Okay.
I want to talk about this
Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, man. They're just giving everything to Daniel Jones this offseason.
They really are. They really are.
It's a fun offense. I mean, you got the clown though, and Jones. That's the tough part.
The clown and Jones.
There was a meme today. It was like a military meme. It was like, I don't know, like it seemed like six or seven like Navy SEALs, and then there was just a clown in the middle, and they were saying that's the Giants offense.
That's the Giants with Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's a good meme.
Wow.
Real quick here before the pick, John, who are the Colts taking at 21?
They're taking running back Najee Harris.
You shut your mouth. Tripp.
Love you,
A
John.
non-troll pick,
Love you, John.
please.
I think
Darrisaw.
this is like the Chargers at 13. I think this is a windfall. I think you sprint to the podium to get Darrisaw to replace Anthony Costanzo. It's just the craziest thing now. We've seen the 3 premium left tackles in this group and this draft slide. I don't get it. Since when do we not need left tackles in the NFL?
100%.
Man,
I couldn't agree more, Tripp.
Who would have thought Kadarius Toney would go off the board before Christian Darrisaw would? Mm-hmm. Like, especially with the fact you just added Kenny G. You have Sterling Shepard is still there.
Yeah, you got Darius Slayton.
Yeah, Slayton's
Ingram.
there. Ingram, Barkley's back. Like, you didn't really need another wide receiver.
No excuses for Daniel Jones, though.
That's right.
That's for
it's
sure.
put up or shut up time.
Especially with Jock on the board,
Yeah.
Blake Martinez getting a little older.
Did y'all
he's
see
not that good.
any mocks
Yeah.
with Darrisaw to the Colts?
I
Or
did
anywhere in
hear
the-
of a couple, yeah.
Okay.
So it a lot of them though had
Wow. We were wrong.
what was it?
It's Kwity time.
Quitty time? Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm not
Quitty
mad
time.
about that at all.
That's great.
Look, I mean, that's 2 great options. I mean, you can't go wrong either way, but dang, I'm floored. I thought Paye would have been off the board in the early teens, so I'm shocked to see him here with the Colts. Macri, give me your kind of gut reaction here with seeing Paye to the Colts.
Yeah, I mean, it's good opportunity for him, right? I think of all the edge defenders, he was like the most athletic of the bunch. He's like a 2-time member of Bruce Feldman's freak list as well. He was right at the top of the list this year. He ran that like ridiculous 6 sub 7 3-cone, whatever it was, 6.37 or something like that, something crazy. And he's got to work a little bit on his pass rush. He's a little bit more raw, but he's a really good run defender too. He's got a strong bull rush, and I think he'll be good. I think it's a good landing spot for him. I mean, like I said before, I would have taken the left tackle, but I mean, I think, pass rush is important as well. So Kwity Paye's nice in Indianapolis for sure.
Yeah, Tripp, do you think this is a situation where, as far as IDPs go, that Paye now falls into the most favorable situation with where some of these other top IDPs have gone? Do you think he has, as far as landing spot goes, has he gained the most steam because of where he ended up?
I think he's lost steam relative to what we thought this morning. I thought that he would go earlier. I thought that he would go to a team like the Vikings or the Eagles where he'd have more tackle opportunities. I thought, going to the Colts have been using a rotation. I think he's a player that needs some development. I think he comes in and plays 50, 60% of the snaps in year 1. I'd be surprised. I mean, I guess they might not bring back Houston, and they got Toure, and he's going to play that wide rush end on that defense and not the more of the strong side end. So it's not a position that's been the most lucrative for IDP in the recent years. And so I'm I'm not super excited about that landing spot, to be honest. I think it's a good situation long term, but if you're grabbing him thinking you're going to get the kind of returns that you got out of Chase Young last year, I think you'd be disappointed.
Yeah. Addy, you see this as arrow up or arrow down for IDP purposes for Kwity Paye?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of good players there. I mean, I don't know. It's you never really know. You really don't. I mean, I like that he's got Buckner and Leonard there with him. That's really nice. And I mean, he's a big guy. He's like what 6'4", 270. Is that right, Macri?
Yeah.
So I mean, got good size. I mean, yeah, he was probably my I think second or third favorite defensive end out of this class. So, yeah, I like the fit there. I like it better long term, of course. But yeah, I mean, probably going to be what, a third round rookie pick, maybe, right? Or beginning of the third round, I would think.
What do you think, Tripp? Second
I
round?
think he goes like second. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, then.
Maybe so.
I do like it, yeah, long term, but it is interesting that he slid. So that kind of gives me pause just for IDP purposes. Like, I love that he slid there and that we were able to swipe him, for being the Colts fan. But I do, it's going to be so interesting, and we'll break this down on Saturday. Some of the IDPs, kind of where they sort once we see the landing spots, where is it breaking down for you guys right now? Like, how do you see the pecking order in terms of, like, let's say rookie drafts? Who is at the top of the mountain right now? Because we had thought Micah Parsons, but John, is it Micah Parsons based on what we've seen so far?
I think it depends on the makeup of your team, right? In this case, because Parsons didn't get like that immediate, 100% guaranteed landing spot that he's going to be playing every down. I think, if you're building your team long term, you're probably looking at Parsons still. I really like Jaelan Phillips in Miami too. I'm a big Jaelan Phillips fan. I put out my Guys article this week. He was in it. He's my number one edge defender. So yeah, Jamin Davis obviously seems to have like the best immediate landing spot, like Bobby was saying. I don't know if I believe Bobby that he's taking him at 109, but
always believe me, John.
There is one thing Bobby is not. It's a liar.
He's never told a lie.
You're right. So you think Phillips may be IDP 101 right now? Let's say that it's a startup, and let's say it's IDP only. It's not offense mixed in. You're starting from scratch. You're building your team. Where are you going with that first IDP pick?
I'll answer because y'all seem to be hesitant. I think it's definitely Jamin Davis or Micah Parsons. The more people sit and stew on those, the more those are just going to get hyped up. I have a feeling. Phillips is cool.
Fair. Yeah. I think I'd probably go Jaelan Phillips just because I like him so much. I might be a little high on him, but I'm not too worried about the injury stuff. I like the spot in Miami too. He looked really good this past year. He looked healthy. I think he is the most polished of all the edge rushers coming out. I think he wins in more ways than any of the other edge rushers. He has a more versatile skill set, I think. So, and he's a good run defender as well. So I like Jaelan Phillips. Jamin Davis is close though.
Yeah, Connor. Can you look up and see reaction from Colts beat writers? What are you seeing on Twitter right now in terms of reaction to the Paye pick?
It's pretty sparse still.
Is it?
Yeah, there's just not a ton out there right now because they're wanting to confirm that there's not a pick being made or a possible trade back, but it seems like they are going to take Paye there with 21 overall. So the big consensus I saw when people were kind of going back and forth on them is that the Colts were really really bothered watching the Bills tape last year and how they couldn't put that pressure on Josh Allen, which, spoiler alert, he extends plays about as well as anybody. So, but I like the fact that they know, okay, we know here in the AFC, if we want to actually have a chance, we've got to put pressure on him and Mahomes, or we're not going to have a chance.
It's a great call.
Yeah. Tripp, you mentioned that you think Paye has some developing to do. How would you like to see him develop year one with the Colts?
Well, the big thing is to develop those pass rush moves. He's winning with athleticism and strength right now, and it's like if he can get in there and take some cues, if Justin Houston can come in and help him with some things, then he can get good fast. But year one is not the time that I would want to count on him as an IDP starter.
Do you think he's maybe potentially a good stash, like a guy to look at year 2, year 3 for your IDP squad?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, if you're in a conventional IDP league setting where you've got to have defensive ends, well, he's going to get that designation in Indianapolis, as opposed to Phillips, where there might be still a question: does he get a DE designation or an OLB tag from some of the platforms that are out there? So I think that from that standpoint, I think that Pay makes a good. So that's why I have him in his late second. If you're playing in a true position IDP, like I advocate for, and like John may advocate for as well, being a PFF guy, then yeah, I think you wait on Pay and let somebody else take him, to be honest with you, because I think that between the increased availability of edges in a true IDP position league and Pay's time to develop, I think you let somebody else take him.
The Pay pick is kind of interesting too, right there in front of Tennessee, who kind of needs the same type guy.
And Minnesota, 23 now.
Yeah. Those teams would have been running that card up to the
100%,
commissioner's desk.
Yeah.
And another thing with the Colts, I mean, Teray, he's probably done. I think they're probably sick of it there in Indianapolis. I think this is a perfect signal of that. And then, like we mentioned, Justin Houston, he is like 33, 34 at this point, so he's probably done as well. So, yeah, some definite opportunity will open up for him probably year 2.
Connie, what were you going to say?
Sorry, I was sitting there watching highlights for just a second. Come back to me.
Go for it, Tripp.
Go for it, man.
No, I thought there was an interesting point about the fact that Pay was going ahead of Tennessee and Minnesota at 22 and 23 when they need them there. I feel like that's been a trend a bit in this draft. I feel like there have been several picks, like Elijah Vera-Tucker is another one, where Team X moved into a spot thinking we've got to get a guy there because he could go next. Elijah Vera-Tucker was mocked to the Patriots a lot in several places that I saw. And, you had the story about the Lions trying to jump up to get Chase. And I think there's been a lot of that. Let's see if we can't get up and snipe another team. And the Eagles jumping up to grab Devontae Smith ahead of the Giants too. It's just kind of an interesting dynamic that we're seeing. And I think, we see a lot in fantasy, but I don't think you see a lot as much in the NFL. And this year, I feel like we're seeing it, which is just kind of interesting.
Yeah. Dude, that was 3 seconds after the pick.
I'm telling you, I think Macri's been to the future and has come back to.
We literally just saw Macri's Jamin Davis tweet over here.
Yeah, looking at your little viral tweet over here, your little TMZ ass.
Is it blowing up?
Yeah, it's 1,500 likes.
69 likes, baby.
Hey,
Nice.
Very nice. That is beautiful. Connie, what do you got here for us?
I didn't realize on Pay that he had that physical scare this week.
Oh, what do you have?
His heart came up as a red flag on his physical.
Did it really?
Yeah, and they said his team his team voluntarily agreed to do like as much testing as other teams needed to see to show that it wasn't an issue. I guess just a false flag. I don't know what the medical term is for that, but I just saw.
Yes. Okay. So that was in Rappaport said it. Who had a very serious health scare when his heart was red flagged during a pre-draft physical. In the end, teams cleared Pay completely sore set after his team arranged for endless tests. Wow.
Remember
Did not
that
know
happened
that.
with Maurice Hurst a few years ago too?
Yes, also
They dropped
Michigan.
him.
Weird.
Yeah, that's right, Tripp. What's going on? Maybe we need to do a deeper dive into Michigan. What the hell, guys?
Yeah. Or do you have no doctors up there with stethoscopes? Like you can't flag these guys like atrial fibrillation here?
Yeah.
Didn't you do a heart one time?
Do what?
Didn't you do a heart one time? I think you did on the pod.
Oh, yeah.
That's really good, Eddie. I don't know if the listeners can hear that at home, but
It took me a second for that to register. I've never been,
I thought you were
asked
talking
that question.
about like doing heart hands.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
I was sitting here for the
live
last
stream.
minute trying to think about whether I should make a bad heart little comment or not.
Just ask me. I'm always ready to go with that.
That's right, Connor. Now that the pick is confirmed, what are we seeing from beat writers? Are they happy with the pick?
Yeah, I mean, everybody I've seen so far just said the guy is a dog. I had seen some stats for him in his, not short, but the time he had at Michigan. Let me pull this up here. I just seen it coming from Zach Kiefer. But Bruce Feldman's 2020 freak list had him as the #1 player on the freak list.
Wow.
You always hear about how Ballard likes traits. Well, this is, I guess, a guy that has them. And if you circle back to me, I'll have a few different stats from his season he just had. It's some pretty impressive stats in terms of explosive playmaking stuff that the Colts have just really lacked. I mean, they've got some key guys at another level at linebacker and in the secondary, some secondary guys that really need to prove themselves more before they can kind of get that title like their linebacking room, I think, has. So we'll see. But
Okay.
back to me, I'll have a few stats.
John, we do love, of course, that Kwity Paye was rocking the Black Panther suit.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was a really awesome. You love when guys make a statement, and for Marvel fans, comic book nerds like we are, it was cool to see a person be like, you know what? I love Chadwick Boseman. I'm going to honor his memory and the fact that he was the first black superhero and do a Black Panther suit for the NFL draft. That bumps him up in my book. That makes me happy with the pick, regardless of how it pans out.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And just something on Kwity Paye too. He only played 4 games this past year, but he had the highest pass rush win rate of any edge defender in this group. So it was 25. It was over 25% pass rush win rate. So as raw as he is, he still finds ways to win, mostly because of his athleticism and power. But I mean, that's going against college tackles as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting with him and Toure. Toure is another guy that has high pass rush win rate, but low snaps. So we'll see how they work together. I'm not ready to give up on Toure.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe some bias coming in, being the Toure manager.
Yeah, hey, I got a feeling he's going to put up 24 snaps next year, no doubt.
A 96 grade on 24 snaps. Let's see. Have we got any kind of confirmation here? Titans. It looks like the pick is in for the Titans. Let me know if you guys see something, but I think it's
Caleb Farley.
Caleb Farley. Okay,
wow.
Is that the cornerback?
Yep, from Virginia.
Okay, that was the one who was falling out, right? Because did he have some kind of physical
He had back surgery.
back surgery? That's right. Okay, and he also tested positive for COVID, didn't he?
Yeah, and then it came out today that it was he got a negative test as well. So I don't know.
Bad week for Farley. The news about the surgery coming out, he gets COVID.
Yeah.
But let's see. So he joins. Who's the cornerbacks there?
Jackrabbit. Don't they have Janoris Jenkins now?
Is Janoris Jenkins there in Tennessee?
Yep, and
Is Adoree Jackson gone?
Adoree Jackson's gone. Malcolm Butler's gone.
Logan
Who
Ryan's
are the
gone.
CBs there? I'm trying to think.
I'm blanking on him right now.
Yeah, all I could think of was they let Logan Ryan walk, and the Giants were like, "Oh, thank you very much. We will take this very
Christian
prolific."
Fulton, who they drafted last year.
That's
Yeah,
right.
true.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's solid.
Well, what do we think about Farley? He was a guy I thought maybe could fall out of the first round with some of that medical stuff coming up, but here we are. Does this trip just speak to the need for cornerback in the NFL?
Well, I think that this is the first mock draft pick I've gotten right since number 3. So I'll give myself a good pat on the back.
There you go.
There you go,
Nicely
Trip.
done,
I
my
gotta get
friend.
something right. So, but I thought it reminded me a little bit of Justin Simmons when John Robinson was willing to take a chance on a guy who was hurt and that he would probably miss week 1 and then come back, and maybe that's a bad reason to mock him there. But I felt like it's just an enormous need after the cornerbacks that they purged, and that was just such a weakness in the defense last year. It just, gosh, that secondary was so bad, and of course it didn't help that they couldn't generate a lot of pass rush. But yeah, I felt like this is a need, and this is the way they ought to go. And from an IDP standpoint, it'd be interesting to see if he's the guy that kicks into the slot a little bit like Malcolm Butler did, because if he is, then he's a top 5 quarterback candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's talk about some of these cornerbacks now that he's gone off the board. So first defender off the board, actually J.C. Horn at 8 to the Panthers. You had Patrick Surtain at 9 to the Broncos. And then you just had Caleb Farley go. So those are the 3 CBs off the board. John, does any of those guys names that we should be paying attention to in rookie drafts based on these landing spots?
Yeah, I mean, I think they all have a pretty great shot to start, right? At least, to play the large percentage of snaps as starters on their teams. I really like Caleb Farley. I was worried once the back stuff came out. The guy is super, super fast too. He's got a ton of speed. So hopefully the back stuff didn't mess with that too much, because he's a really fun player to actually watch on tape. Like him running guys down if he does get beat, or in the run game as well, coming across from the other side of the field. He's got a ton of speed. I am a little surprised, I guess, that he went over Greg Newsome just because of the medical stuff, but I guess it obviously these teams know better than we do when it comes to medicals and everything. So they cleared him, and I'm glad. I'm glad that he went in the first round still, because he seems like a good dude. I listened to a podcast interview with him, and it's hard not to root for him. I really like that about Farley, but that's like a non-IDP thing. It's kind of stupid, but
Well, we talked about
That's totally us.
Pay's Black Panther suit, so we're all in on things that don't necessarily translate to the field. But these guys are human beings. We can find cool reasons to like these dudes. But I mentioned rookie draft for cornerbacks. That was obviously me misspeaking there. Don't take a cornerback in your rookie draft, but just guys to pay attention to.
Or take them high, maybe.
Bobby, just stop it.
Hey,
Stop playing these mind games.
So, Addy, let's get this before the Vikings pick is in. So, where do you want them to go here?
I mean, they're blessed to have an opportunity at Darisaw, right? I mean, the fact that they can get a lineman at this point, and that one of that caliber. I mean, it'd be him, or my dream would be Rashad Bateman or Rondell Moore.
Nice.
Just something super sexy.
Yeah.
Super sick to go along with JJ.
That'd be sick.
JJ Gritty.
That would be fun.
Dalvin and Irv, and yeah, hell yeah.
All right, Connie, so you said you're going to have some fire stats for us on Quiddy Page. You found anything?
I did not find him.
Connor's like, I retract my original statement.
No, they were some not in terms of the team stats that I wanted to find from his limited time. And I had some Macri quotes pulled up as well because I was searching his name with pressures, and I had some Macri quotes from January of this past season, and he was talking them up pretty heavy.
There you go.
Mainly about his ability to have
the Jon Macri guy's smart. We should have him on the pod, don't you think?
What was his most recent? I know I was the first to botch his name, so shout out to
Marcy.
me, John.
You're the Marcy guy.
Just Marcy. Yeah.
Freaking killing it. Sorry.
No, but didn't someone else just butcher it as well?
Yeah, it was Bobby saying McCree, but that was...
I call him Meh.
Oh, wow. Just shots fired. John did say his, what was your grandfather is going to haunt us now with us butchering this Italian last name?
Yeah, he's rolling in his grave for sure. He's got it.
He'd like me, John. He'd like me probably more than you do.
I love this faux animosity here between Bobby and John that's
Addy,
developing.
Where are we going here?
You see anything from beat writers saying who you think it might be, or I was seeing some Twitter accounts that had.
What have you guys been? You guys been using Sleeper? That's who's been getting it to you fast.
I'm just seeing it on Twitter.
I've been using Sleeper.
Sleeper's been good.
Yeah, I've been good.
Yeah, Sleeper's been killing it all night. They seem to be the fastest when it comes to getting those notifications out there.
If you want some Quiddy Pay numbers, I have a couple here. So just from PFF specifically, but 17 of his 22 total pressures over his 4 games this past year came in 2.5 seconds or less. He had a 88.5 run defense grade over his last 3 seasons combined. So again, kind of using that strength and bull rush to win there. 13 defensive stops, top 12 among edge defenders in the Big Ten. It's not amazing, but and then the pass rush win rate.
What did you do?
Yeah, it was up there as well. So
I saw his RAS, his relative athletic score, is a 9.33.
Wow, that's nice.
So that's some.
Yeah, it's out of a 10. That's out of 10.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that's why he was atop that freak list.
Oh yeah, he's elite as far as athleticism goes.
And he's team captain. Supposedly great guy off the field. So Ballard values a lot of that. Now, what that translates to...
He does like team captains a lot, I've noticed.
Yeah, he's really into that. He's into Senior Bowl guys. He's into really odd traits of just super extra effort guys. Now, again, what that translates to on team results and IDP results, we'll see. But if you got Leonard and DeForest Buckner and, this guy is potentially who they say he is, Indy could have a defense that's... We'll see.
DeForest Buckner, John.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Markham, you guys got your boy. Congratulations, Christian Darrisaw, the pick of the Minnesota Vikings. So
great pick.
That's dirty.
To be able to trade back from where were you guys, 14?
Yeah, and get someone we might have taken.
Darrisaw at 23?
Someone we could have possibly taken there anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Love to see that.
Wow, I love that right there.
Congrats,
that's great.
That's a nice, because y'all's offensive line is...
Oh, it's always been a problem. It's been a problem for the past 10 years.
So, yeah. Mac Jones, the body comparison.
Oh, that's great.
Man, they're showing it right now on the NFL Network draft coverage.
It does feel like it's going to work out for the Patriots, though, right?
It always does.
Mac Jones, everyone hates him, but Twitter gets that shit, wrong a whole lot. So
That they do.
Don't you just kind of giggle?
Over Cam though.
I don't think so.
Nah.
I mean,
Well, and Cam is
we
very
saw it.
injury
I mean,
prone.
it's just what's Cam
Well,
going to
yeah,
give
was
you?
did Cam blow anybody away?
6, 7 wins at most.
Hey, they got Hunter Bryant and Jonnu Smith now. Cam will be fine.
Hunter Bryant.
Hunter Henry. Hunter Bryant
You went
thinking
Harrison
of
Bryant and
Harrison
Hunter Henry.
and Hunter had a
They
baby.
had a love child. No, I think, Cam will probably get the nod because he knows the offense. He's spent a full year there. So Mac Jones will probably have a learning curve. But would anybody be surprised if Mac Jones is starting end of season?
Hey, I saw this. What's Cam spelled backwards?
Oh, my God. We should have known all along. Tripp's like, okay, we're at that part of the stream at this point.
Look at Tripp over here with the little Cards beat reporter tweets that Steve Keim says Collins will play the mic.
Ooh.
Wow.
Elaborate, Tripp.
Yeah, that was an interesting news drop, right? We talked earlier about whether or not Collins would fit at an edge role, and if he's playing Mike, then that's moving Jordan Hicks off the spot. I just checked his contract numbers in Spot Track. He's $6 million on the roster, and he's $6 million off the roster.
Oh,
so does that mean that he and Simmons are competing for snaps at will, or is they move him out of there? It's an interesting thing. And when I was on the pod a few days ago, we talked about this. This depth chart is not done. It looks kind of done on paper out of so somebody penciling out a starting lineup, but it's got some work to do on it. And I think that the picks that they only have 2 more picks in the first 5 rounds, and I think we'll learn a lot here in the next couple of picks because I think they've got to go defense in each case. So I'm interested to see how it plays out, but. That's certainly, what we talked when I was on the pod with y'all about Simmons being in danger. Well, heck, maybe it's Hicks that's in danger, and maybe he's gone and Simmons is safe.
Wow. Trey just came across Jordan Hicks to the Cowboys. Huh.
Can you imagine?
For CD Lamb.
We would see Tripp's soul
Interesting.
leave his body. if
Tripp,
that was
please
the case.
provide analysis.
Keanu Neal has also officially been moved to linebacker, so they're just going to go with like a 2-7-4 or whatever the alignment would be.
The Cowboys won't need 13 players on the field to stop anybody. I like that math.
There you go. I love that. Bobby, you got to post the Undertaker gif now with the Isaiah Simmons managers.
I'm not
where he
concerned.
comes up out of the grave.
I'm not concerned. I hate to tell people, but Isaiah Simmons was the number 8 pick in the 2020 draft, so they're not just going to jump ship from Simmons.
Oh, here we go. What if they make him do rock, paper, scissors
That's
to see who
possible.
gets to start?
That's possible.
Take a page out of the Eagles book. Connor, did you
Goodness.
see this story? Like, our boy Nick Sirianni, former offensive coordinator of the Colts, is playing rock, paper, scissors against the prospects. So apparently he liked where Devontae Smith came out on the rock, paper, scissors
He
game.
wanted to evaluate their competitiveness over Zoom.
And he was allegedly trash talking them too, right?
Yes.
Just to
Yeah.
see if they would get back with him. I'm like, how are you supposed to handle that? Because they would tell you to hey, go into these interviews.
Yeah,
and,
this is a job interview.
Yeah, button up
Be very
a little bit,
professional.
be professional. And this guy's sitting here hitting you with rock paper scissors and shit talking to you. It's like, come on, dude. Like, you're the head coach. You're the guy I'm talking to.
He seems like a bit of a goofball, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the vibe I'm getting. So
Freaking Colts already out with the fire Avi of Quiddy Pay.
Ooh,
I love
nice.
those, dude.
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
love
That
they do
looks
the little
good.
artwork things.
I
Like,
can't
looks
wait to
good.
see all the sick DNs, big defensive guys with
Get up there
single
closer.
digit numbies. That's going to be awesome.
Yes.
The new number change.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It looks like Patrick Peterson was going to number 7. I
Back
saw
to 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LSU day.
Of course, the drawback is that you have to buy out the remaining stock of the jersey, your
wow.
old jersey number. I think it was one of the running backs was wanting to change, maybe like Dalvin Cook or someone, and it was going to be $1.5 million. And he was like, oh, wait.
dang.
Let's watch this one. Let's watch this in live.
I was going to say, do we have any clue who this might be?
It's
here?
got to be
If it's
Najee,
Najee
right?
Harris, could we
It's
laugh?
Najee Harris. Yep,
Please?
it's Najee Harris.
Yeah.
Another one that, Tripp, did you have Harris here in the mock? This was one I saw all over the place.
I got a little too cute in my mock, and every time I heard somebody say 98% chance they'll go with such and such, I'm like, it's a smokescreen. They're not going that way. And
Wow.
My issue with Najee Harris is that they have holes on O line. They have maybe Vince Williams is fine at outside linebacker, but they have holes in the secondary. They just have too many holes. I just don't get. I mean, to me, running back is a luxury pick. I think back to CEH last year, where he's the first running back off the board at pick 31 or 32, and it's because it's the missing piece, right? And so Najee Harris is the missing piece in Pittsburgh. I don't get it. I don't see how that's a win for them, given they don't have a ton of picks. It's just this isn't. I mean, I'm frustrated with that pick, and I'm not even a Steelers fan.
Here's an interesting thought. And I know we got two Colts boys in here, but would you rather have Big Ben this year or Phillip Rivers?
I mean, based on results from last year, I mean,
Phillip Rivers.
probably Phillip Rivers.
Yeah,
Probably
I think
Rivers.
that's the way I lean.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Rivers guy. More a late guy.
John, I know you were SMDHing over there. Nice one, Bobby.
That was really
your
good.
mic
That
is now
was
muted.
really good.
John, I saw you SMDHing over there about the Harris pick as well. Looks like you were agreeing with Tripp that this was kind of a luxury pick. The Steelers could have gone like second round and gone with an impact player here or something.
It makes zero sense. Like Tripp was saying, like this team, they had the second worst run blocking grade from their offensive line in the league last year, and they probably got worse on the offensive line. Taking a running back when there's so many holes on your defense, and you have an old man like Ben Roethlisberger is not in the prime of his career anymore. Najee Harris is not like the missing piece that they think he's going to be. Like they're going to show images of the depth chart in Pittsburgh for the offense now, and it's going to be like, oh, who's going to stop this offense? The offensive line is going to stop that offense. The defense is going to stop that offense. Any other team that they go up against in the AFC and in the AFC North even now is going to stop that offense. Like it's just, as a Browns fan, I love it. I because it's a waste of a pick for the Steelers. So
I love that Browns hatred for anything Steelers.
Yes, you could feel it seeping out. Like Macri doesn't get fired up about much. Like there's a couple things that will really push his buttons. As a Canadian, he tends to be like very low key and not stressed out and mad.
Shout out to our boy Sam for the Kenny beat out Benny Snell is the question.
Well, here's the thing, Addy. Do you think this pushes Najee Harris into that kind of CEH territory of like, is he a first round? Late first round, early second round running back now at that primo quote unquote landing spot?
Yeah, I mean, that does seem to cement him as the RB1, right? So I imagine he's going to be. That's interesting, though. Is he going to be? What's the order? What's your top three? Is it Jamar Chase, 101?
Probably at this point.
Then do you jump to someone like Kyle Pitts?
I could see Pitts at 2 or 3.
So I think he's top 3 either way. I mean, either way you want to order it, I think that's the 3.
I still think we have to give it time. I think that 3 is still probably vacated right now.
But I mean, Najee Harris, that's a primo spot, definitely. That's a great offense to walk into. He's going to get, he's got good chance to be all over 15 touchdowns next year.
But think about it. I don't love Waddle. I don't love the Smith landing spot. I don't like the Tony landing spot so far.
Exactly.
So aside from essentially Pitts and Chase, Chase has to be the 101 for
Chase
me.
Chase is the 101, yeah. Pitts is probably the 102 at this point.
I think so. I mean,
generational talent, nice landing spot.
Watch Jacksonville take Etienne here.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay, so Jacksonville's on the board, Tripp. Give me your thoughts on where they might go here with the 25th pick.
I got Barmore in my mock. I think they could use help in that interior defensive line. Although I haven't said that, I don't feel great confidence in that because they have brought in so many linemen and just trying to throw something at the wall and see what sticks. So I don't feel great about the pick. I think Etienne, I would think that's possible. I do. I thought about that. They've talked about adding speed on offense over the offseason. So that would be an interesting pick because everybody knows from fantasy that James Robinson is there. But Etienne brings a dynamic to the offense that when they able the college scheme to be implemented probably a little bit more effectively than James Robinson can pull off for them. But I'm a build in the trenches guy, so I'm always going to pull for offensive line and defensive line every time. You think you build the team inside out.
Hey, John, look at me in the face.
Yeah.
Travis Etienne to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got to see. I don't know. Do you?
Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, Clemson offense reuniting.
You're squirming over there a little bit, huh?
I'm always squirming. It's the beer.
You ever play?
It itches his neck, so it looks like he's squirming when he's actually just itchy. Yeah. Connor, how are you feeling now? We have, quote unquote, the next Andrew Luck in the AFC South. Of course, we knew this was coming. It was going to be Trevor Lawrence all along. It was never going to be anybody else. But now that it's officially official, I don't know. How does this? Let's say Deshaun Watson's legal stuff clears up and he's in play for 2021. Rank the quarterbacks in the AFC South now that Lawrence is in the picture.
Not including Deshaun Harris.
Deshaun Harris? You don't get to talk anymore, Bobby.
I'm sorry.
We're just combining names.
Yes.
Now I'm confused.
So you have Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, and Ryan Tannehill.
Man, that's tough.
I'll make it easy for you. Wentz is 4.
So
I agree.
yeah, that's rough.
That's rough.
So Deshaun is playing.
Let's say that Deshaun is playing.
Well, Deshaun's number one, obviously. Based on what he's done thus far, and I know he's not a sexy name to a lot of people, especially in the fantasy world, but Tannehill's going to be number 2.
I would
put
probably
Wentz
agree.
3rd.
Oh, wow.
And then I would put
Lawrence
Trevor 4th. And here's why. Trevor's never played an NFL snap. He does not have anywhere near as good of a team as what you have there in Indy and what Wentz is coming into.
Adam might have something to say about that.
So I think he's got some good weapons there, and I think he'll build a good rapport there with Urban Meyer and possibly Tim Tebow at tight end.
Yeah, I was going to say,
So-
are the Jags taking Tim Tebow here? Is he just going to get redrafted?
That's the thing. I mean,
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence had won the job.
So he's got to take it
gotta
from
compete.
Tim's dead cold fingers.
Urban's going to give Tim a couple tosses a game, a la Taysom Hill.
If
Yes,
Tim
sir.
Tebow comes in and we have a quarterback competition with Trevor Lawrence, we are officially in the Matrix.
The pick is in.
And
Jaguars take another Clemson stud
Travis
in Travis
Etienne.
Oh,
Etienne.
James Robinson, rip.
rip, James Robinson.
Ben, let's
Ben
go
is-
live to Ben right
Yeah,
now.
let's cut live to Ben is jumping off a cliff. All right, we're back to the live
Wow.
stream. Wow.
That was the easiest fade all off season.
For sure.
Just too many shades of like Darius Slayton.
Yeah.
Man. James Robinson, you should have sold this as soon as the season ended.
Did you see the Sig tweet? Is that what you saw where he said, "Oh no"?
Yeah.
Sig retweeted it and just said, "Oh no."
That's a really bad pick though from Jacksonville.
It
I mean,
is.
that's
That's what
not where you
everybody's
need
kinda
to,
saying.
Yeah, you had James Robinson there. You
way
could've
too
gone
many.
with
Yeah.
defense. Defense needs some help. You got Trevor Lawrence. He's going to make
Or
things
just
happen.
add another receiver if
Dude,
you want.
but
Yes.
let's just forget James Robinson. Lawrence, Visca,
Oh, yeah.
Chark, Etienne,
Yeah, that's nice.
Tebow.
Yeah, Tebow especially. But I mean, Connor, kind of touching off what you said. In my opinion, Lawrence is already like won. He's just gonna raise these guys. I mean, I think I'm not gonna be surprised if we see the Jaguars make the playoffs next year.
By the end of this year, this is how much upside I think he has. As I agree with you to an extent. I think by the end of the year, that is the case, especially if Deshaun's gone. Because I think the way his trajectory will go is he'll just explode.
Well, we were talking about this before we got on mic here. I was talking with Macri that if he is Andrew Luck, think about that garbage Colts team that Luck inherited his rookie year.
Yep.
You had a terrible offensive line, a trash defense, Reggie Wayne, like with 1 or 2 years left in the tank, rookie. Now, we had some nice rookies, T.Y. Hilton. You had Dwayne Allen and Kobe Fleener. So he had some decent, but those were all rookies. This team that Lawrence is inheriting in Jacksonville is vastly superior to that Andrew Luck rookie year team.
Oh, 100%.
So if he truly is the next Luck, the Jaguars should be in the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see, especially having an extra playoff team like they've added in this last year. So, as we saw, the Colts won 11 games last year, and they had to back their way in. So the AFC is going to be competitive, and I think the AFC South is going to be one of the competitive divisions there. So we'll see. I think Trevor's going to be I think he's probably your rookie of the year. I mean, he's going to be a
the
problem.
front runner, yeah.
You want to know what my thought is on him? I think he's going to give us nightmares for the next decade.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
It's not a that we talk about some of these quarterbacks are inevitably going to bust because that's just what happens. Not all 5 of these guys are going to be 15-year all pros. So who is it that is bust proof? Probably Lawrence. I mean, I would put money on him being the least likely to end up a huge bust. So, yeah, I think we are going to be having nightmares about Trevor Lawrence, for the next, 12 to 15 years here. But Etienne, man, that is not where
Let's go back
I
and
thought they were going.
let's revisit what we just talked about and said, okay, so now do you go 101 still Chase? Because
Ooh,
Pitts is
yeah.
probably bumped now with Etienne. Like Etienne will now have 101 conversation. The other thing
Was
to
James Robinson there, though? You think so?
100%. The other thing to think about as well is Urban Meyer has produced some running backs in his past. I don't know, man. That's interesting to me.
Well, I mean, he's gonna catch a lot of balls, I'd say.
Yeah.
He's gonna be featured, in that offense. So yeah, I mean, if you believe in Lawrence, I mean, you have to kind of believe in all the pieces around him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, wheels up for Visca, wheels up for Chark, wheels up for Etienne,
Yeah.
wheels up for Tebow.
Yeah, Tebow. Lord, Tebow can get back in the mix and be fantasy relevant in 2021. I'm going to just start questioning reality here.
That would be so sick.
Look at John over there just trying to hide it. He can't even hide it.
I mean,
Man,
the
you're
Browns are on the clock. I'm just focused on that. I don't care.
Oh, shoot. Okay, yes, here we go. Browns. John, where are they going? You've obviously been plugged in here on these rookies and on your Brownies, I'm sure. So give me your ideal pick and where you think the Browns might go.
So my ideal pick was Jaelan Phillips. Second after that, for me, it's between Jason Oweh and Greg Newsome. I think corner probably makes a lot of sense for them just because, they got guys like Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams who haven't exactly been healthy. Brought in Troy Hill, which is good, but coverage is so important. I could see them going Greg Newsome, but I do like Jason Oweh a lot. I know not everybody's crazy about him because he didn't put up any sacks last year. I don't really care about that. He at least he's another guy has like athletic tools. He looks like a good pass rusher. And I don't think Clowney, Tack McKinley are really answers opposite Myles Garrett. So, I would say Jason Oweh or Greg Newsome would be ideal for me.
All right, Tripp, you like Oweh there to the Browns? What would that fit look like to you?
It's interesting in that, I mean, to talk about Tack McKinley, that's the guy he replaces. He plays a kind of a D Ford role that we had from San Francisco a couple years ago, in that he's playing a third edge role. So that makes him kind of a part-time player in that defense in year one. And that's kind of an interesting fit. I was thinking that they might look for a guy that they could play more full-time. And when they cut Sheldon Richardson, I immediately thought of Christian Barmore. And the only reason I didn't mock Barmore to Cleveland is because I decided to put him at Jacksonville, but I was really torn on that. So I was between Barmore and JOK for Cleveland at 26.
Barmore would be good. I actually wouldn't mind that. I'm actually surprised he got this far as well. I thought, somebody like Arizona might be in on him. Like you said, Jacksonville, obviously they're not, Taven Bryan didn't work out for them. So that did make sense too. Trayvon Merrick, I thought maybe for Jacksonville as well. I don't think that's a need for the Browns necessarily, but I'd be happy with Barmore too. It's a good call.
All right, here we go. He's walking up to announce the pick. I haven't seen it tipped on Twitter yet, so I might actually get it live.
Me too. Yeah. Old news. Moving on to 27.
Wait,
Been there.
This guy with a pumpkin head on. What is going on here?
Biggest Browns fan I know.
What, pumpkin head?
Absolutely.
Old jack-o'-lantern face? All right. John, do you know who it is?
I don't.
Let's see. We're all watching live here. Shut up, Goodell.
Yeah,
Just
Goodell
make the pick.
talking about-
Jesus Christ.
There it is, it's Newsome. Congratulations, Backer. You got that one.
There you go, Newsome. All right. John, immediate reaction. How you like that?
Yeah, it's solid. PFF is like a big proponent of like coverage over pass rush. So, and like I said, Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward haven't exactly been pictures of health. So Greg Newsome, again, is another guy I'm surprised kind of fell this far, but I guess somebody has to, right? When two running backs go in the first friggin' round. So we'll take it. Yeah, I'm very happy.
Wow. And it's two Northwestern players in the first round. When did we ever think we would see that? Two Northwestern guys going in the first round. That's pretty wild.
Great offseason for Cleveland, man.
It really is.
Defense.
It continues. I think if you did a power ranking of off seasons, like you don't ever want to win the off season. That's kind of like a punchline, but shout out the Browns. They've had a nice little stretch here.
There's nothing wrong with winning it if you can win the season too.
If that's as long as that's not all you're winning. Because typically it's like, well, this team, like the Jets, won the offseason and they go 2-14.
Yeah.
So that's not what you want. I don't
remember
think,
the dream team.
Yeah,
the Eagles
with
Vince Young and Michael Vick and
who was the cornerback?
Nnamdi Asomugha.
Yeah, Nnamdi Asomugha. That was fun.
Yeah.
All right, so as a Browns fan, John, who do you not want to see the Ravens take here with the 27th overall pick?
Yeah, I guess. Well, Jason Oweh, who I just mentioned, he would fit well, I think, there. Same thing with Azeez Ojulari. I think there was some concerns with Azeez Ojulari's knee that came out recently that pushed him out of the first round potentially. But wide receiver as well, Rashad Bateman is another guy. What are these guys dancing about?
Dancing
to
Oweh.
Oh, geez.
Take it to the
I'm sorry,
party.
guys. Sorry to all our listeners
Woolert knew who that was.
that sang that
He
song.
knew who that artist was. Like
He knew
off
it,
the
right
like
off the top of his
immediately.
Yeah, it didn't
head,
take long.
It wasn't like, oh, let me think about it.
What's wrong with that guy?
That is a very strange pull to be able to grab that. Yeah, I think wide receiver or edge rusher here is in play for the Ravens. That was the need that I had seen there for them. Man, okay, so IDPs left on the board, guys. Who are we seeing that could still slip into the first round? I think Barmore probably goes round 1, right? I don't see him falling out. I think my pick for, in talking with Woolert on Tuesday, Gregory Rousseau to 32, Tampa Bay Buccaneers is still in play. But is that a little too rich for Rousseau there, Tripp?
I got Russo on Baltimore with one of these 2 picks that they have in the first round. I think that he's a nice fit there. I think he fits a role that's similar to what Zadarius Smith played a couple of years ago. So that's what I would look for.
Calais Campbell's a big fan of him too. That'd be nice.
Especially with Baltimore, 2 picks coming up within the next 4. That's pretty,
right. Yeah.
pretty sick.
So you got to figure maybe one of those is a receiver. We've heard a lot of people talk about that, and man, they've had some nice ones fall to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's still some good receivers available.
Yeah, so we've got Ravens, Saints, Packers, Bills, Ravens again with the Chiefs pick there at 31, and then Bucks. So, Connor, it seems like the Aaron Rodgers stuff has died down a little bit. So I don't think he's getting traded tonight, it seems like.
Yeah, that's a big power move on his part, though. Just absolutely like right on draft eve, being like, "Listen, I'm not playing for you guys anymore."
It's pretty cold blooded.
Yeah, I want to get this out on like the year of the anniversary of you all trying to punk me on draft night. I'm going to punk you guys even harder with basically, here's what I'm doing. And there was even, and I'll have to figure out who said it. I'm just saying a bunch of shit and not pulling tweets up to prove it, but
I like it.
there was, it's what we're about here. Just throw a claim out. If
Just
it
throw it
sticks.
out. Who's gonna check
Not
you?
me. I'm
If
a
it
big
sticks,
facts guy.
we'll put it back and pull a clip of it, and if it doesn't, we won't talk about it. But yeah, it's. What was that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you think that they go maybe wide receiver or offensive lineman here for the Packers to placate Rodgers a little bit after his tantrum?
We'll
I'm
see.
sorry, future Jeopardy host Aaron
I was going to
Rodgers.
say, is he really just clearing the path for his host? He keeps talking about being a full-time host of Jeopardy, and he hangs out with Pat McAfee each week. So I think what I think he noticed is not only did he want to get back at the Packers some, I think he's kind of having a Tom Brady moment. That moment of clarity of, I don't have to play for this franchise anymore that I hate. I don't see eye to eye with management. I don't see eye to eye with the coaches. Frankly, I'm sure living in Green Bay is horrible. Just like it
Shout
would
out
be,
Green Bay.
Yeah, like playing in Foxborough. I'm sure if you have to wear a wetsuit most of your career because it's so cold and wet where you play, I'm sure that's terrible on top of a lot of other things. So I'm sure there's just a lot of power plays across the board that he's just trying to get out of there. And I mean, again, whether or not he sticks there and plays or says, hey, I'll sit out, I don't have to play, I've got enough money. I mean,
I can go
Rodgers
host Jeopardy. I love that he's leveraging this Jeopardy gig.
Well, he's one of those brooder types that's like when people are like, oh, yeah, he just cut his family out of the picture.
Yeah.
Because a guy that can do that can absolutely say, I don't need football.
Yes.
I don't care about legacy. Like, I've cut my family out. Like, football
That's
means
true.
nothing to a guy like that.
I love the response to the tweet that you shared, Addy, of like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers does not like anyone in the front office, and someone retweeted, what are they, members of his family? So, yeah, Rodgers we know is broody. Broods and is very moody and temperamental. Bobby, was the tweet that you actually, was it true that Jordan Love called him Aaron and he since has not spoken to anyone on the Packers?
No, that was Ian Hartitz. He was definitely.
I was like, surely to God, this is not true, but you could absolutely see it being true with Aaron Rodgers with how petty he can be.
That was Adarn Schefter.
It was Adarn Schefter. Oh my God! All right, so Ravens pick here. I haven't seen it tipped anywhere. Are you guys seeing anything so far? No. Okay, we're sitting here. Let's go back to some of these earlier picks here and talk about any other impact picks that we haven't mentioned yet. Let's see here. Devontae Smith. Oh, I did like this nickname. I just saw this on Twitter. They asked him, what's your favorite route? He said any route, and Warren Sharp nicknamed him the Slim Reaper.
I like
that a lot. Still think he's very sad inside.
Kevin Durant, I think, had that nickname.
Did he?
At one point, or Bill Simmons, I think, was trying to get it going. But that's really fitting. the guy he's getting comped to, I guess, the most is Marvin Harrison. A lot of worries about his BMI. If you're into that stuff,
Was Marvin a
oh yeah,
Oh, wow.
very frail.
Uh-oh, Addy. Hold on to your hat.
Oh,
Uh-oh,
this
what's
has got to
going
be
on
Bateman.
Going wide
Bateman.
receiver.
It's Bateman.
Oh my God.
My Marquise Brown shares? No.
Goodness.
Well, I mean, Marquise will still be okay, I guess.
Oh, no, not to the freaking Ravens.
Oh, Macri. But you saw this coming, right?
We knew it.
Wide receiver was a position of need.
Yeah.
Bateman there. What do you think about the fit with the Ravens?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to improve the passing game as little as they use it and trying to show that Lamar Jackson can make plays outside, of running the ball, designed runs, scramble runs. So giving him guys that can get open. Rashad Bateman can definitely get open. I do like Bateman. I mean, any wide receiver that was going to Baltimore just because of the offense they run there, we weren't going to love it. So it's, not crazy about it, but it's, I don't know. I mean, if Lamar Jackson can be a better passer, obviously it helps, but I was
gonna say
Tony pick a little bit better for Washington.
Okay, so knowing where some of these offensive guys have fallen thus far, Tripp,
Giants.
just kind of gut reaction. Yeah, Kadarius Toney to the Giants there. Where does Bateman fall now with the Ravens and Lamar Jackson and kind of that limited passing pie?
That doesn't worry me as much in terms of value. And I'm not one to fade a guy for a landing spot because of run pass split. I think back to AJ Brown a couple of years ago and people said, "Oh, he's dead. He landed in Tennessee." Well,
yeah,
that worked out okay. So when it comes to the guys that we've seen go off the board, I've got Bateman ahead of Toney in my mind. Just gut reaction. I don't love Toney. I don't like the little speed guys. I don't like to bet on those guys anyway. We talked about Devontae Smith a little bit. I mean, I think that he makes sense to take second after Chase, to be honest with you. If you're in a rookie draft, my gut reaction, if you're in a chalk PPR league, he steps in. He's number one right away. I think that's actually a pretty attractive landing spot for fantasy, in my opinion. It's not great. I mean, but when is it ever great? I mean, it's either you land in a great offense with a bunch of too many mouths to feed arguments, or you land at a not so good offense because you're clear number one. I try to look at what player fits the profile that I'm looking for the best, and
sure,
Chase certainly is the number one on that. And then some of these other guys are just interesting or curious fits. And Bateman comes into a spot where he's clearly going to be the number one guy as long as he pans out. I mean, Brown is just there to stretch the field, and Boykin isn't working out as a regular. So I kind of like the fit. Okay. It's not the death knell for me that some would make it out to be.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird too, Tripp. They took Duvernay last year. They also went out and grabbed Willie Snead.
Snead's
and
in Las Vegas now.
Is he really?
Yes, he is.
They got Miles Boykin.
There you go. But they grabbed two other receivers, I think, in free agency. Maybe not. Maybe they haven't done a whole lot. But either way, I'm with you, Tripp. I kind of like the Bateman grab. I mean, can Lamar be more accurate? I don't know, but Bateman is pretty decent in and out of his breaks. He does seem to create a little bit of separation, which Lamar's going to need. So
they got Sammy Watkins.
Oh, yeah.
So it's Sammy Watkins, Hollywood Brown, Miles Boykin, Devin Duvernay.
It's all there for Lamar. He's got J.K. Dobbins, he's got Mark Andrews, and now he has two good young, different type wide receivers.
Yeah, now it is, for Lamar. Because, I mean, that's the thing. Lamar hasn't really had a lot of talent around him up until this point. I mean, Hollywood Brown seems like a really electric receiver, but he's not someone you can throw it up to or anything like that, Mark Andrews, really great red zone presence, but they need another alpha type receiver.
Just keep adding to the offense.
So I mean, I think
still waiting for that one.
I'm not going to be surprised if we see Lamar take another step forward as a passer.
Yeah,
and I think he's going to have to because defenses are going to start adjusting to him, like we kind of saw last year.
You don't want
it has been getting harder
running.
for him, right? Yeah, and he won't sustain if he's going to keep doing that. He'll eventually get hurt. But I like it To Tripp's point about Devontae Smith, that's a pretty good call too, because Jalen Hurts, this is going to be a huge year for him, right? If he turns out and doesn't do well, they're done with him. I mean, he was a third-round pick. I mean, I think this is going to be a heavy evaluation year. We know how quickly the quarterback situations can change, and if they get a competent quarterback in there that is not Jalen Hurts, I mean, Devontae Smith could be huge.
Yeah, I don't mind that because Tripp's right. I mean, you have Jalen Reagor there, Arcega-Whiteside.
There you go. He's
But there is questions. It's a new coaching staff. It is a new full-time quarterback. Like, yeah, I think so there is reason to have a little bit of hesitancy, but in terms of opportunity, they traded up to get this guy. He's stepping into a role that could be just targets galore. So, yeah, I think he's definitely in play for the 102, the 103, kind of one of those early rookie picks. Connor, we got the Saints coming up next here at the 28th pick. Before we see who they select, I don't think we've gotten your take yet on the Saints QB situation. They were rumored to potentially be taking Mac Jones if he fell. Do you think now with Mac Jones off the board and all these QBs kind of settled, is it going to be Jameis or is it going to be Taysom Hill?
Jeez, two great options there,
Right.
huh? I think it'll be Jameis. I think a year, some time behind Drew. I don't know if anybody saw this. Did y'all see the emotional press conference Jameis had talking about when Breeze retired?
No.
He sobbed for like probably 2 or 3 minutes.
Did he
going through
really?
it, talking about what Breeze did for his life and for his career and teaching him about being a man and how to be a football player. Really, really cool. I just think between those two, that's probably a little bit more of a quarterback there for the Saints. I don't think it's their long-term piece, but I think it's their piece for now. But I think they need to address it sooner than later because I don't think you have a long-term answer there. So that'd be my answer for now is Jameis is your Band-Aid.
Yeah, I think they would like for Jameis because Jameis is still young. You know, I don't think he's 30 years old yet. So they would like if he could be the guy. Former number 1 overall pick. Him and Mariota going 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So what do we think here? Do we know who the Saints are picking?
wow, surprise.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Houston
Turner.
defensive end Peyton Turner.
Yeah.
Peyton Turner. Okay, this is not a guy I am familiar with. John, what's the deets on Peyton Turner? Do we know anything about this guy?
Yeah, I mean, he played, I think, 5 games last year. He had 5 sacks, 90 pass rush grade for PFF. I mean, I'm surprised. Like, I know it came out today that teams were really liking him because of his, measurables, his medicals, his interviews and stuff like that. He did all that right. So teams started to kind of fall in love with him. I mean, there's
This is a surprise, though, right? I mean, was anybody seeing him in the first?
Not until today. Yeah, not until today. It was one of those ones, that a late one that came out. I mean, with Azeez Ojulari, I guess, falling because of the knee issue. Jason Owe, obviously, I think what I put ahead of him, even Greg Rousseau. It's interesting. I mean, this edge defender class is still kind of a mix, right? We don't really know a lot about them. It's a lot of guys with measurables. He's like 6'6", 270, so he's a big guy.
Wow, that's a beast.
They lost Trey Hendrickson, obviously, to free agency. So the only other backups there other than Marcus Davenport and obviously Cameron Jordan is starting is like Carl Granderson. So they saw it as a need. I like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah for them, but that didn't happen. This is interesting. This one feels like the biggest reach so far. I mean,
I think so. I mean, how is JOK not off the board yet, Bobby?
That's a great question. Let's also go back to this Zaven Collins quote I've seen about those who have doubted him. Excuse my French, but piss on them.
I love that he thought he had to excuse himself for saying piss. Like he must have grown up in a very strict household.
It's not a very bad word.
So this is interesting. Where do the freaking Packers go with all this Rodgers stuff that's come out today?
Here was one of the quotes I had that I was looking for earlier, and this was just one of the sources. I saw a few different blue check marks have like the next level of like the chapter's been written, it's over with. You had Schlereth, I think, saying on there that a deal was all but done with him going to the Broncos, and I think they've backed off of that a little bit. But this was our boy Trey Wingo at about 3:15 today. Sources, the Packers reportedly told Aaron Rodgers they were going to trade him in the offseason, then they backed off. It's been a you-know-what show between them ever since then, and within the last week, Rodgers told the team, trade or no trade, I'm not coming back. Buckle up.
I think they get him a new contract, get him a contract extension, maybe get him a wide receiver here, and he'll be happy. It's April. Like Aaron Rodgers is not going to sit out.
You don't think he's the type of guy that says you get rid of Love and you extend me?
I think that
You have to get rid of him, right? If you extend Rodgers again,
you give him a big fat contract extension, I think he'll be happy. That's what I've heard. It's all along. They converted his signing bonus, or they converted part of his contract to a signing bonus to try to get him some more money. But that's not. It wasn't the bone that the Packers thought they were throwing him. Like, he wanted that contract extension. So, who were some of the wide receivers left here that the Packers could go with?
Rondo Moore.
Yeah.
Elijah
Terrace
Moore.
Marshall.
Elijah
Elijah
yeah.
Moore would be great.
Yeah, people were really high on Elijah Moore. I've seen him mocked like super high.
Watch him go with like Kyle Trask and just we hear Aaron Rodgers on his way to the Lambeau Field just to set the whole thing on fire.
Yeah, they definitely don't go offense here, right? No chance.
I don't know. It's the Packers. They brought Kevin King back. How much do we trust the Packers to make the right decision here? Maybe they go corner to replace him, but
To answer you though, Josh, I am kind of surprised that that Jock is still on the board. I definitely would have pegged him being gone before now.
Well, Ravens, right? Ravens make a lot
yeah,
of sense.
well, yeah, somewhat. Malik Harrison, Patrick Queen, but outside makes a little bit more sense for them, I guess.
It's because it's not going to be. I mean, it could be Packers. That would be interesting. They need linebacker help there, but
Sure.
I don't see the Bills. The Ravens would be a little bit of a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Bucks don't need him. Are we going to see JOK fall out of the first? That's I think because
Interesting.
sometimes we're IDP guys, so we get a little caught up in these guys, and it can push our opinions of them up a little bit in terms of what NFL teams think. But that's a guy. I mean, Peyton Turner. That would have been a great spot for them to take JOK. So
yeah,
let's see who the Packers are going with here.
Well, and remember, last year guys,
cornerback.
put it in.
guys like Kenneth Murray and Patrick Queen, they were going later. So, I mean, this may be range for somebody like that.
Yeah. So cornerback Eric Stokes for the Green Bay Packers.
They hate
Who
it.
the hell are these people, guys? Like, what is going on? Seriously.
They do hate Aaron Rodgers.
And with a giant middle finger to Aaron Rodgers, the Packers select cornerback Eric Stokes. Tripp, what do we know about Eric Stokes?
That he's one of two guys that play for Georgia and a good defense and can't.
yeah.
This is more of a reach than Peyton Turner for me. What are they doing here? The smokescreen pick that I've been avoiding, I kind of went with it in my mock, was Elijah Moore. I thought they would actually go ahead and make Aaron Rodgers happy and take the receiver this time. And nope.
Wonder why he wants
They had to need a quarterback because Josh Jackson is a bit of a bust for them. But, they got Jair Alexander and not much else in the back end. So I get that they need corner help, but it goes back to what I said early on in the show is that you wait. There's cornerback depth in this class. You take second, third round picks and corners and build that way, and you take a higher upside guy here.
Man, the stones that Green Bay has just going up against Aaron Rodgers, just saying, you know what? Screw you.
Yeah. We're not taking a wide receiver
Yeah.
or offensive
I mean, how many
lineman.
years
We're
now?
taking this cornerback no one's ever heard of.
I wonder, what did they do like 2 years ago? So we obviously know Bryce Love last year, but like 2019, where did they go?
Let's see, 2019.
They didn't go
Packers
wide
draft.
receiver in the first round.
So they went Rashawn Gary,
Jordan.
and then
Yeah.
Darnell Savage,
Nice.
and then Elgton Jenkins,
Yeah,
center out of Mississippi State.
Like, what's the draft capital for like MBS or like?
Oh, he's like a 5th round pick. Lazard was undrafted.
Nice.
Yeah, man. I mean, they have not invested anything into the offense.
Where did they get Aaron
Sternberger
Jones?
was like a 3rd round pick, I think.
So why is Rodgers being such a prima donna and wants to leave such a good organization? Like
Yeah, I
that?
know.
Seriously.
I did see this though, and I just wanted to read it. It was from Greg Rosenthal about the Packers.
He did throw 47 touchdowns last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
So
He's all right.
Yeah, I just wanted to read this here. Let's see. It was a Rodgers tweet that I thought was pretty good. If the Packers won't trade Rodgers, I just hope they could finally get him some help beyond his all-pro left tackle, all-pro wide receiver, top 10 running back, 26-6 coach, and top-scoring offense. When you look at it like that, you're like, oh, wait, maybe he's not as in a bad a situation as what we think. But let's be honest, Rodgers is making a lot of that happen.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not like the team is doing him a lot of favors outside of Devontae Adams, who is all-world. Rodgers is what is elevating this team, not vice versa.
You know, and a lot of those guys that have left Rodgers, we never saw the same success. Like James Jones, Greg Jennings.
Yeah.
We never got to see Jordy Nelson outside of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Randall Cobb. Like, you know, I know he was maybe past his prime, but I mean, truly, Rodgers, like Peyton Manning and the other greats, they make these receivers probably way better than they are.
That's the first comp I thought of because, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I thought, man, Anthony Gonzalez is a stud.
Yeah.
Anthony Gonzalez wasn't a stud.
Yeah.
Austin Collie wasn't a stud.
No.
I still think about Austin Collie and that
There-
concussion.
Just all these guys that you're just like, man, did Peyton make
Yeah.
Yes.
a little bit, and that's what's happening there with the greats, and that's what happened in New England with a lot of the janitors that they hired on to play with Brady and co. But you know, I don't know. When you put it that way, yes, it does seem a little put back on you a little bit about we have surrounded him, but I'm like you. I think he's the straw that stirs the drink. There.
Exactly. He's the rising tide that has lifted those boats. And man, as someone just said, I think it was who was it that just said that? Lindsey Rhodes on Twitter said an Aaron Rodgers Instagram live right now would possibly shatter records. Yes, I agree. Let's go to Rodgers for his thoughts right now because I think that would be interesting. It was because he spoke pretty soon after they took Love. Or no, he spoke to Kyle Brandt and talked about in the offseason. That was one of the first guests on 10 Questions. And he said, I was pretty shocked when they took Jordan Love. One thing I do like about Rodgers, he is a little bit of a prima donna, but he's not afraid to share the emotions that he has and the thoughts that he has about these moves that are being made, for better or worse. So if we're going to hear from Rodgers in the next couple days, I don't think it's going to be very positive based on where they went tonight, Connie.
He's going to the Derby.
That's
He's going
right.
to have cameras in front of him.
He's going to have some drinks
Yeah,
in his
he's
system.
definitely going to be drinking if you're at the Derby and no one's been out for like the last 12 or 13 months.
12 years.
So, yeah, like something's going to be said there. And here's my question is if you were not only an NFL player, but you were one of 32 starting quarterbacks and you were Aaron Rodgers level, let's say, are you not saying something too? Or are you just going to be a yes man for the company and be a company man and just, kind of take it on the chin after you feel like you basically get the backhand every year through the draft, through free agency with, like you all have talked about who are those names if we ran it back about 5 picks? I mean, is there anybody even still on the roster besides Love that's actually even contributing?
Not really. I mean, Rashawn Gary had a decent season. Obviously, Jordan Love didn't do much. You've got
Their Smith brothers have been pretty good, but
those were free agents. Those were free
But
agency.
They drafted AJ Dillon in the second last year and then re-signed Aaron Jones.
Yeah. What are they doing?
What are they doing? It's funny, though, like Rodgers knows, and this is true, if you have a franchise quarterback, it's the most important person in the building.
Oh, yeah.
More important than your head coach, more important than your GM. That's what a lot of people were saying with the Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll stuff. It's like, why would they trade Russell Wilson when they can just fire Pete Carroll?
Yeah.
Like, when would you ever pick a generational or a coach over a generational quarterback? It doesn't make any sense.
It seems like a lot of these quarterbacks have started realizing their worth. You know, like an NBA, like these guys will kind of like bully their way around to different teams and stuff. We've seen it a lot recently with these quarterbacks, you know, with Deshaun Watson before the allegations came out.
Yep.
Um,
Trying to force
Brady
his way
did it
out.
first. It's like
Brady
when
did it
LeBron
first.
did it first. And
Wentz-
he said, well, I'm leaving Cleveland and doing the super
Wentz
team.
did it.
Wentz wasn't happy. Russell Wilson's been trying to do it, apparently, right? Now Rodgers is back at it. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's just a trend you're going to see more of.
Yeah, so it looks like this is I didn't quite get it here with my Gregory Rousseau pick because he goes at 30
That's great.
to the Buffalo
That's great.
Bills. So gut reaction here, Tripp. Russo to the Bills. This seemed like a real position of need. I think we actually talked about this with you on the pod because we were talking about, Jerry Hughes could be a IDP veteran on the bubble. Seems like Russo steps into a really nice spot here.
Yeah, no, they definitely needed an edge. They drafted AJ Epinesa last year, and they didn't get a lot out of him in year one. So it's interesting to see how the two of these guys fit together because they're a little bit similar in the sense that they're both guys that are bigger edges that might kick into a 5 technique spot when a 3 edge set. And so I'm interested to see how these guys fit together there. But certainly they needed the help on the edge. I wouldn't have been surprised if they went Ojolari or Owe here with the smaller edge in the mold of Mario Addison, but Russo might have the most upside out of those guys. Well, Owe has some upside too, but it's an interesting pick. I don't think you could go wrong with any of those 3 guys there that spot in terms of value.
Yeah, John, surprised at all by Russo going here at 30? And do you see the other of these two edge rushers that are still left available going at the Ravens, who have the next pick?
Yeah, so I think it's possible that the Ravens, even the Bucks, could potentially take an edge rusher as well. Russo, it is a little surprising because he didn't have like the best pro day numbers either. And if you're not having like good pro day numbers, it's a bit of a concern, especially this year when everybody was having good pro day numbers. But yeah, he's got like ridiculous length. He's like 6'6", something like that. So he's a big guy. He's a little raw himself. A lot of his wins I found came from the inside of the offensive line, not so much around the edge. So he could still develop a little bit there. Lined up at nose tackle a good amount as well. So maybe they think that he can play a little bit inside, move him around a bit. But yeah, Mario Addison's getting older. Jerry Hughes getting older. It's good. Epinesa is another big edge rusher too that they have. So
yeah. And I mean, if production's your thing, I mean, there's no one that was more productive at a young age than this guy. 15 and a half sacks his second year. I think he was a redshirt freshman. So yeah, he's raw, but I mean, he did produce. I mean, I don't think that you can fall into 15 and a half sacks and not have any idea what you're doing.
For sure. Imagine all of them. John's like, I actually tracked them all, and he did fall into 14 of those.
So the funny thing, I put a stat out today, and among all the top edge defenders in this class, he had the highest rate of cleanup or unblocked pressures from the group. So 53% of his pressures were either a cleanup pressure or an unblocked pressure. Wow. that we categorized it, which was like 21 points higher than the next guy.
You know what that screams to me, Addy? Bust. Oh, Lord. I just love labeling guys busts right out the gate. It's a lot of fun. So
still giggling when you see Mac Jones to the Patriots at the bottom.
No, like that just I think I spoke that one into existence there. It's just amazing they managed to get him. What were they at, 15?
Yeah.
15?
Do we have any worries about with Russo testing poorly? I mean, he did take the year off.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably put on
he looked pretty fit right there. That suit was looking tight. He was looking pretty chiseled.
He's got braces.
And I like that he's in
braces.
I like that he's in Buffalo.
That's a little drip.
Oh, I don't like that either.
No,
but I do like that he's in Buffalo. I mean, he's defensive minded team.
Yeah. Milano to remain behind him. Got
Ed Oliver next to him.
Micah Hyde.
He's a big dude. I was seeing him stand next to Goodell.
Taron Johnson.
And, yeah, that's a big dude.
He's like
6'7",
270.
Yeah.
He's a refrigerator with legs.
Yeah.
What a beast. Mm-hmm. All right, so Russo to the Bills. Now, do we think, I was looking here, is an IDP in play for either of these last two picks? I looked up Levante David's contract to see maybe if they could be a JOK landing spot, but he just re-signed for 2 years. Obviously, they have Devin White there, so that doesn't seem like the pick. But what's a need for the Bucs right now? They just brought back Antonio Brown. They literally returned their entire team from this Super Bowl. So, Tripp, what is a need for the Bucs right now?
I think they go either Ojulari or Owe here. I think that they come in. They got Jason Pierre-Paul is older, and Barrett isn't exactly young. I think they could use more speed. I think that you get one of those guys, and he does what we talked about with the Browns a few minutes ago. I think they do those three-edge look where Pierre-Paul kicks in a little bit, and then they have a speed rusher outside of him with one of those young guys. I think that's a great fit. I think that's just the kind of weapon that Todd Bowles' aggressive defense could use in a part-time role to really make that defense a killer defense. So I'd look for them to go one of those spots.
Yeah, Connor, with try not to throw up in your mouth here, but with them bringing back pretty much the entire – well, not pretty much, bringing back the entire team that won the Super Bowl, do you think the Bucs are the favorite going into 2021?
In the NFC, yes.
Who's the favorite in the AFC?
The Chiefs.
Still the Chiefs?
Yeah, absolutely the Chiefs.
Especially with that. Did you like that move of them adding Orlando Brown there at left tackle?
Yes, it's going to change if you give because Mahomes wasn't healthy. I don't feel like really a lot last year. I feel like he was injured a good portion of the year. I don't know when he started having some of those nagging like foot or ankle or like lower leg injuries. I felt like he was
it his toe in the Super Bowl that was bothering him?
he had surgery on it.
Yes.
he got rolled up on a few different times throughout the year, didn't he? It seems like that was a
He
trend.
was hobbled. He was definitely
like
hobbled,
you-
especially
He
in the
spent
playoffs.
Horizontal. the
Of
whole
course.
game.
I mean, you remember the throw where he's literally parallel to the ground, making this like 30-yard throw downfield.
I tell my Bengals fans this all the time because I see what they're doing with Burrow and what they saw this last year of having a blown ACL. You had better get the line in place, and you had better have it in place last year because you're living on borrowed time. So I'm glad to see them get that there from Mahomes, even though he's going to, be the main force to keep Indy and other AFC teams from moving forward. I think, it's Patty Mahomes in the AFC, but yeah, it's
Brady.
It's Brady and
Until
BA
proven
there
otherwise.
in Tampa Bay.
To be able to not have to go, well, we lost so-and-so to free agency,
Yeah.
so now we've got to go replace him in the draft, to just say, who's the best guy on the board? Let's take him.
Yeah,
Because
so
you just
nice.
returned a Super Bowl winning roster, Bobby. Like, that is a great place to be in.
I'm still very, very popular. I mean, really popular for saying this. Joe Burrow can throw to bad receivers behind a good O-line. He cannot throw to good receivers behind a bad O-line. Think about that for a while, Tripp.
Can
Trips
you
like-
though? Can you? I mean, we've seen these offenses like Pittsburgh where they get the ball out quick.
I just
if
love
they have the talent around them.
I just love that picture of Burrow like sitting in that chair with that scar on his
Yes.
knee. That's like
Yeah.
the Penei
It's a
Sewell like
gross
reason.
scar.
It really
Yeah,
is.
it's a really
I mean, it was a
nasty scar.
horrific surgery, though.
He was just, I don't know. I watched a little bit of Cincy games just because of where we are. We get to, see a lot of them, and he was just being harassed the whole year. You just knew
Constant
that
pressure.
horrible tear was coming. And the worst part for Burrow was it wasn't like a clean ACL. It was like PCL, ACL, like maybe some meniscus stuff. Like, it was pretty rough. So I don't know. I'm hoping that this was like a Mahomes CEH deal where they like kind of hit him up and they were like, all right, Joe, we've got a pretty important pick. Like, who do you really want us to go? And
Joe, how's the knee? What can we do for you in the draft?
Go get my boy Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
You don't want Sewell?
They
or
say this Penny
literally
guy's
anybody
pretty
else?
good.
Nope, Chase. Okay, bud. Make sure to ice that knee, and we'll see you at training camp.
Remember, you asked for it.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep that other knee upright.
They're living on borrowed time with that, man. I think that's such a huge mistake.
I
But that's
agree,
what
Connie.
happens. That is, again, I've said this all along, especially with the franchise like the Bungles. This is giving a 16-year-old a Lamborghini
Yeah.
and being like, don't speed, don't
Don't crash into a telephone
don't
pole.
go 200 on the parkway. Like, this is
200.
yeah, like this is just moronic to think they're not going to absolutely total Burrow and his career at their current trajectory. But give him extra weapons, great. Is
Yeah.
he going to get absolutely annihilated?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
To paraphrase Addy, his knee was blown by week 10. Year one, not great.
All right, so is the Ravens
Oh,
pick
it's
in?
in.
It is.
Yes, sir.
Listen to John throwing the away in there.
Damn, you
All
got a
right.
good voice.
Man.
Beautiful, John. John's had is that a beer and a half in, John? You said you're reverted back to a lightweight now.
We're on 4 now, so
yeah. There we go. We know
Macri stock sky high.
PFF's HR person is like taking down notes on a little clipboard, watching all these live streams. John Macri, terminate him.
Yeah.
He's got the best hype party of the night.
Look at this. Away is. Are they
Away
cranking
hype party
away
is.
right now
For
at this
sure.
party?
So it's definitely went through.
Poindexter, that was the guy's name.
Poindexter. Yeah.
Something Poindexter.
Something Poindexter. All right.
6'5",
so
252.
away to the
boy.
Ravens. This was very chalky for the Ravens here, going wide receiver and edge. Tripp, do you like the fit with Oweh in Baltimore?
Oh, I do. I think if there's a man to take over Terrell Suggs' role, which has been vacant for a couple of years, this is the guy. He's got the kind of upside you want. He's kind of guy that grows into this defense and could just be a star. And this is a fantastic landing spot for him.
Man, that's a freaking great analysis there, Tripp.
Yeah, I
I
agree,
forgot about
Tripp.
Suggs.
Yes.
They got their type, don't they? It's like, okay, we're replacing one mutant. Let's try to find another one.
Who's the other mutant?
Yeah, just like built
Hey,
in the lab.
did
here.
you guys realize there's another song you can use it? You can go your own way.
How is that Oweh?
Ah, shit. You can go your own way. I think it can work. It works.
You saved it. You saved it. John's like, I need another few beers before I'm singing that one duet with Addy.
That was the Saber episode of The Office. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that. But
Which
yeah,
one?
That was the Saber episode.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, give me a minute.
Dunder Mifflin is
It's
a part of
Sabre. Dunder Mifflin is a part of Sabre.
Oh, you Office fans. You guys are the worst.
Oh, better than Marvel fans.
All right, so we've got Owe off the board. So predictions here, fellas. We know who's left. We know Tampa Bay's got the last pick. Macri, I'm starting with you. Who do you think Tampa Bay goes with at 32 to wrap up the first round?
So I like Ojulari the most. There's other guys. Joe Tryon potentially could slip in there. But Ojulari, I think, would be my favorite. Trayvon Merrick, maybe. If I had to rank them, I'd probably say Ojulari, Tryon, Merrick, 1, 2, 3 is most likely. I mean, their third edge rusher is Anthony Nelson after JPP and Shaq Barrett. So it is Tryon. Wow. So if if one of those guys get hurt, that's interesting.
Wow, Tryon. Okay,
really
that was a
good,
guy
so
Mike said he was very high on. So kind of surprised to see him here in the first.
High on, Tryon.
High on Tryon.
So linebacker out of Washington.
I love that.
Addy loves a good pun.
Yes, he does. It doesn't take much to entertain Addy after about 4 beers.
Sir,
So Joe Tryon,
rhyming your words together.
linebacker. That's
So he didn't play
how.
last year either.
So why linebacker here if
he's
they've got
good.
Devin White and Levante David?
Josh is sweating a little bit, boys.
I know.
No,
my
no.
Devin White shares. He's what?
He's an
He's
edge.
an edge, guys.
Okay.
No,
Oh, thank God.
no, John.
I thought I saw linebacker there. Thank you.
Well,
for
Josh,
talking
Josh,
about
you got an
that.
offer in your inbox.
Yeah, no, I
That's why
know.
we need two positions, so let's not get confused.
So not Ojulari, but we've got Tryon. That's a little bit of an upset, I feel like here, John.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, obviously the medical stuff with Ojulari was a concern. Teams worry about knee stuff. So, I mean, Tryon, again, he's a guy we didn't get to see last year. And he had 9 sacks in 2019, 71.9 pass rush grade. So, the numbers not necessarily as good as Ojulari, especially considering that it was in 2019 too. So it's interesting. He's another guy that I heard was coming up. So he was on the list as a potential player. So, but it was a need. As far as needs for the Bucks go, they don't have a ton, but you need another edge rusher other than Anthony Nelson if something happens to JPP or Shaq Barrett.
Mm-hmm. There you go. All right, Tripp. So now that the full complement of players has been taken in the first round, give me your favorite pick from 1 through 32. Can be for fantasy. It can be for NFL need. Whatever you want to, whichever way you want to go here. What was your favorite pick from round 1?
It's funny. I know we talked a little bit about this when I was on the pod last week. It's just, for me, it's just all these guys are such black boxes because so many of them didn't play last year or in 2020, that is. And so it's, if I'm in a rookie draft coming up here in a few days, I'm loading up on the guys that are taken on day 2 if I have the depth in the league to do that. There's really not a player that just stands out and where I thought, with the exception of the offensive tackles. I mean, Tevin Jenkins hasn't been taken yet. What's going on with offensive tackles? So I think that everybody that took an offensive tackle got great value. And I can't understand why they're sliding like this. So we got, Joe Tryon, which I was thinking he was a second-round pick. 32 was awful close to the second round. So the edges are coming off the board okay, but the offensive tackles are the ones that are sliding, and that just really puzzles me. And the last thing I would say is that Trey Lance. So that was it took until today before those odds flipped and people got a census to Lance would be the pick over Mac Jones. So felt like that, common sense prevailed on that one. So I'm excited to see that. I mean, from a fantasy standpoint, if you're in a super flex league, I mean, your first 3 picks are in the bag as far as I'm concerned. You pick those first 3 quarterbacks, so they're 1, 2, 3 on your board. And so, and if Lance is any kind of a discount in the super flex draft, then that's interesting to me.
Yeah, John, favorite pick 1 through 32. What you going with?
I'm going to still say Jaelan Phillips, Miami. But Jamar Chase is kind of coming in as like a really close second now, just because, like you said, Tripp, like offensive tackles are falling and the Bengals are going to grab an offensive tackle tomorrow night. So they end up looking pretty good if they, still get one of these top guys available and Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow's buddy. So It's Jaelan Phillips and Jamar Chase for me.
All right, I'm going with Justin Fields to the Chicago Bears, just because, like winning, like money, a franchise quarterback solves all problems.
Yes. Yep.
So as much trash as Ryan Pace has gotten for taking Trubisky over generational talents like Watson and Mahomes, if Fields is the real deal, which I think he is, go back. If you haven't seen it, I think it's on Netflix now, this show called QB1, and it tracks the top high school quarterbacks in the country. And Justin Fields was actually on that show as a high schooler. And you can tell, a lot about a guy. Now, I know it's edited for television, and so you get probably a pretty good, public face here. But I could tell then, this dude is going to be in the NFL and be a really solid pro because of the way he conducts himself. Even in high school, you could tell that. So I think he's the real deal. I think he's going to be starting from day one. I love the Justin Fields pick for the Bears. Connie, where are you going?
He's actually one of my least favorite. He's a plant-based athlete. Do you know that?
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Not eating meat. Okay, I take back everything I said.
Yeah, not going to make it in the league if you're not eating meat.
Hey, Tom Brady's a plant man as well, so
he's an exception. So we won't talk about that. Well, again, facts don't matter here on Big Three. I forget. I don't know exactly what Philly gave up to get Devontae, but I think he's that good. I also did like going with Macri. I like the Jamar Chase pick as well. I think he's going to do really well there. Although, again, I think they could have probably used some help more towards that line. But again, they're trying to give him some weapons to jumpstart what they're doing there in Cincy. But I just think Devontae, if he has the trajectory like people are talking about, I mean, people are comping him to Marvin Harrison.
Yep.
So Marvin had
Not
a
a
year.
bad comp to have.
No, it's not. Obviously, Marvin got
That's
his
best case scenario.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Marvin just got his gold jacket a few years ago, so there's a long, long way to go. But Marvin had, I think, a year or two before Peyton got there, and it took a little bit to kind of get in stride. So, even if Jalen's not the guy in Philly, and I think there's a good chance he's not, I just think we're going to look back on this draft, and Smith is going to be one of those, like you talk about a cannot miss. You just can't miss with him.
All right. Tripp, you get to revise your answer. What do you got?
Yeah, Josh, you're correct. Justin Fields is the correct answer. Oh, I forgot about that entirely. That's the guy to grab. There is a top 4 in Superflex, and Justin Fields is the value. It's totally correct. He's got A-Rob to throw the ball to. They don't have a great team, but they have enough pieces to keep them afloat as a fantasy option. That's great. That's the value pick right there.
All right, Addy, favorite pick?
I think Jamin Davis. Just really nice. Just really nice for him, and he's I think we're going to see him, maybe be the first linebacker off the board for IDP drafts.
Yeah, you do love that. Kentucky boy ended up in a really nice spot. Yeah,
maybe the best landing spot.
Maybe for IDP, I think it's right up there.
Yeah.
I think I'm with Macri. I think Jaelan Phillips is probably my biggest IDP winner.
Yeah,
because man, that's primo.
That's nice. Yeah, they don't have anything.
That's
there.
a great pick by the Dolphins. I love it. But yes, I think for. Say what you will about should he have flown up the draft boards as much as he did, lands in a pretty nice spot there at 19 with Washington. Bobo, favorite pick? Who you going with?
I'm going to say the Rams first rounder, Jalen Ramsey. Lockdown corner.
That is true.
Production, just solid.
When do you guys have a first round pick again? Like 2034?
We're not going to talk about it. I do love their theory though. I do love what they're doing with, it's kind of the same way some people play fantasy. Like they don't always want to use a first. They'd rather go get somebody who is, they know a little bit more about. They know, is productive.
It's called the Josh Raymer approach.
They can run with it. But anyways, my favorite pick though is actually, sorry Tripp, it is actually Micah Parsons. It's just very similar to me, the CeeDee Lamb pick from last year. Not only were they right ahead of Philadelphia, who desperately needed a wide receiver last year, and they took CeeDee Lamb, and that was just like, I think even Adam talked about it on the pod last year. He was just a perfect, we don't really need him, but how could adding CeeDee Lamb be a bad thing type thing? I think that Micah Parsons is going to be needed a whole lot more this year than people think today. Leighton Vander Esch is going to be needed. He's going to go down week 2, and all of a sudden Micah Parsons is going to step up next to a Jaden Smith, who to me is already not great. I mean, is he productive for IDP? Absolutely. But could that knee flare up one day? He had times where he didn't look great last year. I'm not going to let Parsons fall too far for me.
All right, there we go. So, gentlemen, we want to thank you. This was just a killer panel. It was a lot of fun doing the draft. I was like, oh my God, are we going to have a lot of dead air? Boys, we had a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, this was, I haven't done a live stream before, but this was a lot of fun. Yep. Jon, Tripp, we really appreciate you guys joining us, and shout out to Joey as well. We appreciate you all dropping the knowledge here on the stream. And boys, quickly here before we sign off, we also, of course, have to give some love to our friends over at Manscaped. If you all will humor us for a second here, we are rocking the Manscaped shirts, and we have our promo code Big3IDP. So, gentlemen, if you're in the market for some men's grooming supplies, head over to manscaped.com and use promo code Big3IDP to get 20% off your first order plus free shipping. We got our swag boxes, Connor. I dropped off the razor there and the ball deodorant. So we've been liking the stuff so far, gentlemen. What do y'all think?
It's great stuff, man. It's so good. The boxers are amazing.
The boxers are very nice.
They make you look huge.
Yes. If you need some performance enhancement, it's not steroids. It's Manscaped boxers, gentlemen.
The quality is up there. I'll give Adam that. Quality's.
On behalf of my balls and I, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that is what the shirts say. Your balls will thank you. So shout out the person who just joined the stream to watch us talk about our balls. What a way to end a great round one recap. Thank you, gentlemen, again for joining us. We really appreciate y'all. Thank you all for tuning in. We really appreciate everyone that popped in and watched even a minute of this stream. Shout out to our patrons, and thank you to the NFL draft day, the first round. It's like Christmas in April, and it delivered with the drama and some of these head-scratching picks. We get to stew over this for the next few weeks here as we ramp up for our rookie drafts. But thank you all for listening. We will be back on Saturday with a full draft recap, so make sure to check that out. But for Joey, Tripp, Jon, Connie, Bobby, Addy, it's Josh, and we will see you guys on Saturday.
Thank you, Daddy. Get down.